Doctor Who happened, and I almost completely fucking forgot. That's my review right there.
Connor didn't watch it. Oh,
Yeah.
fine. You have to. Do you want to? Because you need the big chair, don't you? Because you're a bigger boy.
The big chair.
You're a bigger boy. I'm a little
Kingpin.
tiny man.
I'm a Fisk.
Oh, Connor, I've got to fucking sign in again. Hang on. Oh, we got another sub.
Oh,
Back up to 255. Hello.
Hi.
Do your thing, mate. That's it. You're very good because you're very vocal.
In this city.
When I was a boy. When
I was a robot boy, we formed a star called Belinda Chandra, and that almost rhymed with my Mrs. Vanessa. Sound waves, they seem to be a thing, but then when I speak really loud, they look like they project, but I don't know. These sound waves are shit.
At this point? There's
Yeah,
5
they
comments
do-
that I've
they do
unresponded
look shit.
to. They normally mic. Is it 5 comments? 5 comments. Hello, huzzah! God, what is this list? Oh yeah. Oh. So who he wanted for his chairs?
Oh. Not who should be in Doctor Who Season 2.
Julie Louise Dreyfus. Yeah, well, fucking look at me, not respect. But then I have just got a new phone, and Connor's only just let me log back into the account. Hello.
I have the power. There can only be one.
There can only be Kenobi.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to No Bible Podcast. Doctor Who, 8 weeks.
8 weeks, but is the question the final 8 weeks?
The fight. It did. There was part of me that when it come on. Hi everyone, I'm George. That's Connor.
Yeah, hello. Hi. Shooty and David, respectively.
See, I'd love to be Shooty,
Would you?
but I feel like you're much. Oh no, because you've got very Davidy hair.
I have.
You got very Davidy hair.
I have got
and
Davidy hair. Okay, cool.
getting better looking with age, just like David.
Oh wow! Just like fine wine, folks, right here, right now.
I can't high kick and say Yas Queen as well as Shooty, but we'll give it a go. There was a point where fucking new phone.
There was a point where you're
silent. Jesus
There was a point where
Christ.
the notifications invaded our channel, and yeah, we've been taken over.
Basically, it was when it started. I was like, "What if this is the end of Doctor Who?"
Doctor in modern distress.
Doctor in distress.
Robot distress.
Maybe. Send Belinda Chandra to clean up the mess. So obviously for this is we're reviewing Doctor Who episode by episode because that's what we do. The way timing works out with guests, it would be like it's almost like a Big Finish audio. It's bookended with our lovely voices.
Yeah. Except after we do this session, we then got to add and get our tambourines out and harmonicas and do the sound effects.
Alexander McQueen is under the desk.
Yes, trapped.
Stop kicking me.
Neil.
I am not Nick.
I always prefer Jay.
An In-Betweeners reference. I didn't think we could get one of those in 2025.
But
here we are.
In between us, yes.
Nothing in between us anymore. No. Look at us in the same room.
Become
touching
one.
and fondling and... hello. I am in the middle of Libya. Okay. I've literally just got to pause it for 1 second. Twice. So I went to say to because this will have to be stitched together.
Yeah.
I was like, I went to watch it twice, and then I just didn't.
You just didn't.
Do you know what as well? And this is you know how I am for this kind of stuff. I've still not watched Unleashed. And I don't think I finished what fucking look, it's pissing down.
Oh, that's disgusting. The Rain Revolution. That's the sequel to this. Wow.
Do you know
what has happened?
Being an adult is just not fun. But purely because what we did. Because this bit I don't know if this bit will make it because this is like real life stuff. Yeah. So we got a sand pit. I think it was from Aldi for like 20 quid. Yeah. And it rained anyway, so the water's on because it comes with a sort of tarpaulin cover, like a little one. The rain's already on it from yesterday, so it's a gap. So it's just going to rain directly on the sand.
It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere. That's the thing about sand.
Need a slightly bigger one, sort of almost like a bed sheet, so you can go under it and it can sort of be tense, so the water can run off of it. So that's going to be a problem for me. I'm not fucking dealing with it today. It's like 6 o'clock. Fuck that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't got time for that. Ain't even be able to fucking hang me. Wash it out, love. 17:38. Anyway, I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. But yeah, thanks for logging me back in, Connor, because we can now officially talk about
the robots took over our phone. Yeah.
So
we're going to conquer the revolution.
I mean, I don't know if anyone knows this about us, but we watch Doctor Who and we talk about it quite a lot on here.
I mean, we did, and then
We did. We don't anymore.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
sorry. End of podcast.
Since Empire of Death, I mean, it killed my stagnation. It killed my momentum for the show. Briefly.
But as much as Empire of Death was crap, I really enjoyed that we went to the cinema and saw it.
I
was
love
fun.
that experience.
Also for me, because you hadn't seen The Legend of Ruby Sunday.
I'd not.
Somehow-
and that was pretty damn
Somehow
legendary.
you managed to
And that was
avoid
pretty-
spoilers and not watch it for a week.
And that was pretty damn legendary in and of itself.
And you had the reveal in the cinema, but then you only had to wait like 15 minutes.
No,
and then you could watch
a long, agonising 15. No, it wasn't that long. It was a very quick 15 minutes.
And we, yeah.
And then I died inside afterwards, like we all did after that finale.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And to save us, wow.
Whoa. The stunt rider from
all about-
Marvel Comics is
It's
here.
all about family. Dom Toretto's in the building. Not in the
Cameo.
building. They might be in the building
studio.
soon.
In the studio.
But to save us talking about, he's back.
Oh my god. Wait, is that Paul Walker?
Oh dear. Oh dear. You can't be saying stuff like that, Con. So to save us constantly going over ourselves, because we've sort of kind of touched on the will Doctor Who return next year?
Yeah, when
And
will it?
the latest, it changes, it flips from day to day, but the general thing is
Is it? Will it?
we
Can it?
have to wait for the Disney Plus viewing figures, so which is everything outside of the UK, in terms of
Internationally.
will Disney Plus invest in it again, because they gave them 26 episodes, which works out, because Mike worked it out because he's a clever clogs.
Maths.
So it's the 2 series of 8 episodes. It's the 3 I nearly said Australian specials. It's the 3 60th anniversary specials, all dubbed in Australian now by
Nick and
Nick Maso and James. I nearly said Nick and Maso, and that's the same man.
Nick and Maso.
The 2 Christmas specials, and the 5 episodes of The War Between the Land and the Sea.
Oh, they're part of the deal.
Yes.
Oh.
So, which is why at this current time we don't know if there is
Others.
if there is a Doctor Who Christmas special this year, which there probably won't be.
Oh wow. Nearly confirmed. Based on
Because,
what?
well, judging by it's April now as we talk, which is like mid-April.
Yeah.
The series finishes the 24th of May. The correlated data from that would be 30 days after, I'm assuming.
The
If it's
finale?
anything like the TV ratings, normal it would be like 30 days after the 24th of May, which takes us to June. You got to then write, film and edit
Christmas
for December, obviously, because that's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah.
With Bad Wolf also saying that they're taking on people for jobs, but also like there's nothing immediately planned for 2 years in terms of Bad Wolf Studios.
What?
But since Russell was taken on board, he was always talking about, and like I know it's kind of like a keep him guessing kind of thing, so it's not like it's been
No.
like he was writing. So as season 1, he wrote season 1 and 2 like in a thing
Almost
because
back
there
to
was.
black.
I think Mike said, or he will say because it's in this episode. In fact, it's like a 4 or 5 week break between season 1 and 2, and then they started filming season 2, purely because I think Shooty had a play on anyway.
Yeah.
So it was like a break for that to then come back and then hopefully do
because of
more.
the doctor's schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of like a double production time for that, and obviously wrote a lot more of it in. Had to write the season 2 script, so that's why Stephen did Christmas. But I already said like I've got plans for season 3, and then he talked about, there was an interview I think the other week or this week or at some point where he said like I don't think I'll run out of steam maybe for season 4 or 5, but at the minute I've got plenty of ideas bubbling away. So he at least maybe has the ideas for season 3, whether he's written his scripts or story ideas for season 3. So it would just be a case of right, we've got the money, pick up from there.
Do it. Yeah.
We are yet to know. We won't know until I don't think. I'm just gonna say June for after this season. So we're not gonna focus on that. We've talked about it now. We will. I know I've definitely asked DK and Mike. Oh, well, that's a spoiler for the episode. We'll cut that out.
Wait, they're in it?
I would definitely ask the guests we've got along this series how they feel about it. But every guest is on twice because just
Upon a time.
Yes, unfortunately, because of Guy's work commitments, he can't legally come back at the minute.
What a guy!
But I like
What
how
a guy.
in the group he teased like, "I'll be back for season 3," like as if he knew that it was happening. And then
Well,
he was
he's
like,
the watcher of the group. He's the
the
future
watcher.
incarnation of all of us.
He's the. It was the guy all along. He's gonna love that. He would love to retroactively be like the spiritual like energy driving force that will then one day kill us.
Wow,
After we've been in the Jolly Welshman pub, of course, which exists maybe on a different reality now. We never know.
I shall leave. Wait, enjoy the. Speaking of the guy himself, in out of our timeline group chat that is sort of going on,
and it's an exclusive.
I hope to see you next season. Oh wait, well maybe a classic story. What is he hinting at here? What a guy!
I love that.
You viewers can find out as long as us.
Like that and say goodbye to him for me.
I was just going to respond to his original message and see if I can find a Watcher gif.
Right. Yes, but unfortunately he can't be back. But we'll have him back on the podcast at some point because that was a fabulous talk last season. So we've got 2 episodes with Will because he bugged in an episode, and then as soon as Guy couldn't do Lux, he was like, "Yep, couldn't jump in the grave."
We still have
enough.
the will to live.
2 episodes from Andy, so we'd only have to ask him once. I mean, the only person that it might,
or at least twice. No, but yeah,
it might coincide more is because Dom's doing the finale, so it's part 1 and 2. So it'll kind of be like, is this the end? No. I love how it just be like, we'll just turn to Dom and be like, is this the end, Dom?
Is this the end that you were prepared for?
Thank you so much, Guy. You will definitely be back on soon. I'm gonna do a cheers, like 2 glasses of prosecco or something. Cheers.
That's not a Watcher.
I can't even spell.
The Watchers, the who, what.
Okay. Right. In we go. I hope he's still in the group and actually saw that. Otherwise, I'm just talking, speaking into the void. But yes, we will be asking the guests that, but we don't have to ask them it all the time because we don't have 8 guests because we don't have 8 friends, and
That's really sad. Why are you making this more depressing as time goes on?
What, this podcast? It's what I do. I'll copy that because I think he's already gone.
Yeah. Oh, wait, he's actually left.
He's gone.
The chat.
Yep. It's a shame. I'll send a message to him directly.
Yeah.
If he's not,
he was contractually obliged to leave the chat.
If he's not blocked,
he had to leave the chat. Wow. Goodness me, what a guy.
Capitalise his name because that's just rude, isn't it? I mean, this is great content for the viewers. Right. Okay.
With a tear in our eye, we're now going to break.
A tear, Sarah Jane.
A tear, Sarah Jane.
Don't give up. Where there's hope, there's
Guy Lambert.
Hopefully. Honestly, in terms of chats, it was like I want to make these kind of podcasts where we talk to people that are just like really knowledgeable and nice and full of not to say that Will, Andy, Mike, and everyone aren't, but just in terms of someone that's worked in the industry. It was like
insignificant poodles.
No, we should go into like Nerd Bible, the professionals, like MasterChef.
Sure.
Oh fuck, we can't bring him up, can we? Go. Cooking, podcasting doesn't get better than this. Oh fuck. There's too many landmines now in TV. Anyway,
we're almost in Stephen Moffat's Boom from last season.
Yes, to bring it back to that, on a cold Monday night, it's Tuesday. What? In terms of your excitement for season 2, was it dampened by the end of last season? Was it brought up a bit by Joy to the World? Did you not give a shit? Were you like, oh, I'm really excited, and then they're basically cancelling the show? Or
well, that's all I kind of read. It was like they're stealth cancelling the show, to be or not to be. We still don't know at the time of recording, kind of. And as we, alluded to earlier, that we won't find those results of that until the end of the season, come mid-June. Yeah, Empire Death. I mean, it kind of stagnated Modern Who. I mean, I'm still very much excited for the collection. And
is the collection going to stop?
It can't stop. We've got 10 more sets to go. We can't stop the collection. No, it's 5 more seasons of actual Who, and then 5 more box sets of reconstructions and double dipping animations, maybe. Or unless they've got the episode. No, they can't stop the collections. They are a must. We must collect Doctor Who again. Yeah. Sound real parodial. Yeah, right. Empire of Death. Yeah, it kind of killed my perspective on Modern Who. Christmas 2024 was okay in a nutshell. Joy to the world. It brought something to the world. I don't know if it brought joy, but that's just, without getting personal, that's just the Christmas we had. And I mean, it kind of happened and blipped, and that episode just didn't really do anything for me. So that one is like a quick, 4 or 5 out of 10 in hindsight. So fast forward between December to April, I've been elsewhere mentally. I mean, John Cena's broke my heart since February, and I'm fucking still shocked by what he did at Elimination Chamber. But again, we may have discussed that already further back.
When is when's WrestleMania?
20th. This weekend.
I'm gonna watch it live.
Night 1 and night 2. It's on Saturday night and Sunday.
You should stream yourself on the Pasty Sheep thing and be like live WrestleMania watch, and then I'll go in the chat and be like, Connor, I'm watching wrestling.
You're watching wrestling. But will John Cena break wrestling? But again, that's a whole other tangent. That's a whole other multiverse implosion. That's not going to affect the Whoniverse anytime soon, unless he cameos in John Cena season 3. Unless he comes in Doctor Who season 3. Unless he's in this year's Christmas special. That may or may not happen. Who knows? Right, yeah, cool. Season 2, episode 1 happened. Who cares?
But the trailer was you like yes?
Lack of it was like, oh, there's a trailer. I didn't even care. It was just like, there's a trailer. Yeah, thanks for telling me, imaginary voice from last week's episode. Oh, shit, I better get on it then. Better get a move on, Slowpoke. Yeah, but then come Saturday afternoon, so what, the 12th is when the episode aired. I was expecting it in the evening, but prior to other commitments I may have had, but then, saw a notification that it was uploaded that morning. Saturday morning, it was like, poof, you can watch it now.
Yeah, so instead of midnight like it was before, it was 8 a.m, which was slightly better. Yeah. Because then you could watch it in the morning if you're not like, oh, you'd have to stay up and then it's maybe a shit story Space Babies. But
get it up and get it out of the way. But no, so I sat down, probably watched it around 2:45, ended it at 3:37. Be Pacific with real time. Who cares about times? I did watch it in the afternoon before I went out that evening, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I had been the last couple of Doctor Who ventures we've had. Yes. In my very quick opinion.
If you had to, without saying anything spoilery, because we'll do that anyway, because that's coming, rank quickly all the Doctor Who 2005 onwards series openers. Go.
Oh, bloody Nora. Cast back. What's the worst opener? Space Babies. That's at the bottom.
Space Babies number 1.
Space Babies at the bottom.
15.
Season 11.
Do you want me to get them up?
Woman from the Sky. Yes. Yeah, I can't think of names. I'm thinking flashes.
Doctor Who series opener.
The pilot, just because I don't remember it in the minute. Sorry, Peter. I'm due a rewatch.
Ranking Doctor Who series openers.
Yeah. Not that
Someone's claimed Let's Kill Hitler.
Yeah, because it was mid-season opener, wasn't it?
And Bells of St. John. What the
fuck
are we doing here?
Right, the pilot, just because I don't really remember it at time of recording, but then, I'll smack myself in 2 weeks' time.
Right, so we've got... we've got...
Space Babies
Rose, at the bottom. New Earth, Smith and Jones, Partners in Crime, 11th Hour, top tier.
That's bottom of shit. No. Said no
Impossible
one ever.
Astronaut, Day of the Moon, if you want to do both, because it is a two-parter.
Yeah.
But I'd say we focus more on the first episode.
Fine,
so
yeah,
Impossible Astronaut.
Yeah.
Asylum of the Daleks. We're not counting mid-season, so Bells of
no.
St. John and Let's Kill Hitler are no. Sorry, Will, I know you love Series 6.
Series 8.
Deep Breath.
The
The Magician's Apprentice.
Ah.
The Pilot.
Yeah.
Woman Who Fell to Earth. Spyfall Part 1. The Halloween Apocalypse. Space Babies. And The Robot Revolution.
Yeah, so Space Babies is at the bottom. Always will be at the bottom in terms of season openers. Sorry, Shooty.
Okay.
Not the best way to kick off your era, aside from Chris 60 special.
But his era kicked off with Church and Ruby
what
Road,
came
so
before.
that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, but it's not. Space Babies. Then I'd say the pilot, just because I don't remember the least of it.
Okay.
Compared to other shit, I don't know.
Yeah,
off the top of my head. Off the cuff.
Okay.
Halloween Apocalypse.
Yep.
Spyfall Part 1.
There's a lot of Jodie here.
No, and then let's put the 11th Hour. No,
Honestly, I nearly had a heart attack.
Asylum of the Daleks.
Yeah, I can see, because it's just a fucking.
It's just kind of a mishmash episode.
We're getting divorced now.
Yeah, we're getting
That's
divorced
a terrible
now.
Karen Gillan impression.
Then I put New Earth.
New Earth is a bit, but then I think
It's weak of a
New Earth
Yeah.
is similar to Space Babies in terms of the real start was Christmas Invasion,
Yeah, exactly.
and then
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and now we're back for the series. So what's happening? Oh, which links very well to Rebel Revolution because if I had a nickel for every time a second series of an RTD era of Doctor Who started with a cat being killed, then
Wow,
There you
yeah,
go.
I didn't even link that together, but
There
that
you
was
go.
shocking.
so New
Yeah.
Earth was number 6 or number 5.
Yeah, let's go with series. I can't
so-
remember what the
so
fuck I
far-
haven't said now.
So you've done 14,
13,
10,
fucks.
13, 12, 2. Go.
6.
Impossible. Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that Impossible Astronaut is really good, and then Day of the Moon is the weaker half of it. So
Exactly.
in the terms of the spectacle and then the cliffhanger, it's like, oh my god, this show looks great, and Will's definitely gonna kill us.
Gonna kill us.
Yeah, he's gonna kill you. Especially next week, I'm gonna say it was all.
You know what? Bring it.
He's all his idea.
Just bring it.
Just because you're not here for that section. You've also put 2 Matt Smith era episodes. He is going to kill you. All right,
You
go.
don't know. You don't know where I live yet. Bring it on. Another David. Let's get rid of Partners in Crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that
I mean,
someone's
this
gonna
is-
scream. You've got 2 Capaldi series left and a Jodie series left, so that's
Oh, Magician's Apprentice and yeah. I'll rejig that one, but whatever.
so Magician's Apprentice and
Yeah.
that one.
And then what was the only
Woman
Peter
of
one I've
Ellsworth?
got? Deep Breath. That could go deep down the list. Why have I left that for so long?
Oh, well, it's officially there. It's officially in the fucking middle.
It's official until I get pressured to do it. Why is Deep Breath should be fucking deep underground along with the babies?
So you're putting these underneath Partners in Crime, which will then
yes,
be
big time.
number 7. All right,
Yes.
number 6.
Do
Do you want me to tell you what you got left?
Sure.
Series 1, Series 3, Series 5, Series... You've done all of Pete.
yeah.
And Robot Revolution.
Fine, Robot Revolution then. 'cause
Robot
it's
Revolution
that
number
high
6, okay.
up. And then Series 3, Series 1, and then Series 5.
No, so now you've got
Wait.
you got 5 left.
Yeah, so I just said rapid fire. I just said what I wanted.
1, 3, 5.
Look, exactly, George. You can't peer pressure me like this because that's where the content goes stale, and you
All right,
make
so
me
you're
sound like the right idiot.
all right, what's your favourite?
11th hour. There you go. Happy
Correct.
Will. You don't want to kill me now. You don't want to kill me
No,
now.
because you put Series 6 too low. It's done. The damage is done.
No time can heal this wound.
So your favourite and then your least favourite is Space Baby. So quite
Absolutely.
a rough position. I should have written it down, but we'll work on that later.
Yeah. The script.
It
would
was
be nice.
definitely not the worst
No,
series opener.
it's not. No.
I'd argue again, like New Earth is weaker. Space Babies was part of the streaming era of it's so weak. Let's drop 2 episodes so that they watch the good one after the bad
That's
one.
why I was expecting it this time round. I thought we'd get episode 1 and 2. I'm kind of glad we didn't.
But with it not dropping together, it was like, oh, so then this one can't be that bad.
It can't be
Because
terrible.
otherwise they would have dropped an episode that apparently Lux is being, hailing a lot of 8, 9, 10 out of 10s in terms of early reviews. So
Yeah.
it could be a modern classic.
Is it going to be a la this season's Devil's Court or
Mr.
better?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Oh, is this what we're going to do? Are we going to rank
And also-
the episode 2s with all the other episodes 2s?
No, we're not going to do it.
No.
I don't have time for that because it only goes up to
okay.
episode 8. Because then we don't have episodes 9 to 13 anymore.
No.
No. That's a problem that we do.
As
we
far as
definitely talk about
episode
later, don't we, Mike?
as far as episode 8 goes, we only know Human Nature / Family of Blood can go up that high up.
Yes.
As best episode 8s, along with Father's Day.
Possible Planet Satan Pit.
Well, that's probably third then.
That's one of my favourite 2-parters of all time.
Yeah.
In terms of New Who, in terms of multi-doctor, in terms of episode stories, it's fucking hell, it's so underappreciated as well because everyone just thinks the Who are fucking shit, but they're lovely. They're like the Sensorites, but they've got spaghetti in their mouths.
Cousins and then cousins.
Spaghetti cousins.
Spaghetti cousins.
Hey, I believe
So
they're called Italians. Yes.
The Sensorites
You're
are
my
pasta.
spaghetti cousins.
You're my spaghetti.
And once again, this podcast is un-PC.
Get censored. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh right, yeah. Robot Revolution. It was good. I'd say outright good. I enjoyed it.
I'm also trying not to, because it comes later. I'm trying not to say what Mike said because that's. I'm
don't.
trying, even though I remember it, because it's a different. The time fracture.
The time fracture.
You went swoop.
Yeah, so the plot device is actually affecting us in real life. It all makes sense now.
So the time fracture live action Doctor Who event is
That
that
we
now?
didn't go to. Is that canon?
Is that canon now?
Is it canon?
Because David Bradley was in that, and it's been a while since he was last in it. And David Bradley normally shows up every 5 years. I don't know if anyone's noticed.
That's a bit.
We've
cracked it.
I don't know if anyone's noticed. But
Russell, Steve, we're on to your big ideas, fellas.
Because what? 2013, he was in Thingy.
Yeah, thingy.
Oh no, 4 years later, then he was in Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And then 2022.
Power of the Doctor. What was the episode called? The
Power
Jodie
of the Doctor.
Jodie finale. Go
that
Power
was- that
Doctors.
That was 4.5 years. Nearly 5.
And we're at the 3 year mark.
And then what 2020? Well, so what? That's 2027, or 2027 or 2026. So where the fuck's David Bradley? God damn it!
Season 3.
It's just David Bradley as the Doctor. Fuck with me, I fuck with you. Ever since her Jeep Cherokee crashed into me.
Well, especially if his cat dies next season.
Oh God. Yeah, unhand me your metal pricks. Belinda Chandra is a woman who...
She's a star.
She was a teenager.
In the sky.
She was a teenager once. I didn't know if you knew that.
Once upon a time.
And then did they say how old she was in the flashback bit? Was she 17?
Maybe.
Let's go with 17. A push. I don't think they show... I don't think the BBC...
The age of consent. Let's put it
Yes,
that way.
I'm saying that I don't think the BBC
should or ever would.
I don't think they decided to, but I definitely don't think they should have showed a romance between two people, or at least one person that was under the age of 16 in the UK.
Yes.
I think there's been too many problems in TV and film and covering people up that that's a no. So so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll say they're 17.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. I agree. Amen to that.
And then they're 17 years later.
The guy from the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire
I just
era
had to
where
do
he looks
17
like
times 2. What the fuck? 34.
Time fractures effective maths as well.
34. Is Miranda Suthu... Is she not... She's not 30. She looks too
She can't be
fucking young and
34.
youthful.
Yeah.
But then this is like when I found out Mandip Gill was actually in her 30s and not like still like 28 or 29. Have you typed faster than me?
No,
yeah,
I can't spell her name.
You're typing
Not
faster
yet.
than me. I've given up.
It'll be in my databanks.
But yes, and it's 17 years later, so she got bought a star by her boyfriend who was trying to propose to her. And then it turns out that when you buy one of those stars, that the star system actually becomes what you name it. So it's Miss Belinda Chandra 1. The Miss Belinda Chandra bots have come...
She's 32.
She looks good for 32.
Yeah, damn straight.
I would have said like 27, 28.
Yeah, I agree. I would have said that age, 29. 30 at the latest. 30th is the cap, but 32.
And she's in Andor. I should watch that.
I still need to finish it.
I still need to
But
start.
she was in Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, God, then...
She needs redemption. She needs
God,
redeeming.
we need to... This is going to be a Jurassic World. Are we some kind of suicide Jurassic World? God, fuck that. Anyway,
yeah. Happy
she's
thoughts.
amazing. I like her.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Her dynamic.
Can you just tell them? Apparently, it's Queen of Outer Space. Apparently, can you just tell the neighbours? Fucking Anita Dobson.
Yeah, Mrs. Flood.
You didn't see me. Like pantomime villain.
But who is she? What is she?
Because Russell said she's going to pop up in every episode.
Yeah.
But he's also said because
touting her out to be some big villain.
Yeah. The big man's also said that I might not never ever reveal what she is. I don't know because it goes back to the I know everything for the next 5 years. Oh, I don't actually know. Is it happening? I'll never tell. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very
like
cryptic,
a little
very
fucking
cryptic
a very
Mickey Mouse.
cryptic coy leprechaun. Russell T Davis.
Mickey Mouse leprechaun. Mickey leprechaun.
Yes. And he's writing episode 1, episode 2, episode 7 and 8, and then he's co-writing episode 4.
But I think episode 6 is meant to have some sort of big reveal.
Where is it? Russell T Davis, episode 5, The Well.
The will to live. So yeah, what am I even on? This is directed, written. Right, we want written. So he's done 1, he's done 2, he's done episode 3, and that's it. 7 and 8. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Yeah, that's episode 3.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, the first
Well,
three.
it's episode 3. Yeah.
Okay, and then we got a Pink McTeague episode, Anula Ellams, a Juno Dawson episode, and obviously
Russell.
partly written with Sharma Angel Warfall. So there is less Russell, purely because if you count the Christmas special, so he's done 4.5. He's written 4.5 episodes, which is exactly half of 9. Don't know if you knew that.
Oh, quick maths. That was intentional.
So at least we didn't have a Christmas special and then this and then another thing, and then it felt like, oh, he's written loads of it, and the two
Not
best
let the
episodes of
voice-
last season were the episodes not written by him. But I'm looking forward to seeing if there is an overarching theme with Belinda, whether it's pre-planned and whether the other writers are going to pick up on it, whether it's just a Russell thing, whether it's going to end with a cloaked person pointing at another road sign. We don't fucking know. It was the wrong anagram. It was Omega. but I'm wearing a Rolex because Casino Royale was on last night. Is that a Rolex? Omega. Oh, I'd love if Russell was shitty enough to make a line of dialogue like that. Just be like, Omega. Maybe it's Omega. Fuck it. I'm doing obscure villains in big fucking masks that sit down a lot. That's what I do. Maybe that's my thing.
Omega.
Who else sat down a lot? Who else sat down a lot in Doctor Who? Don't say Davros, because that's cheating.
The Rani.
He's already done. So this comes.
Rani.
Oh, because this comes later on, but I can tell you because you weren't there yesterday.
Oh.
Right.
Not in this time stream, no.
It come from Will because Will told Mike, but I also did see it on Twitter. Apparently, the translation for Queen is Rani. And who else was called Chandra? Rani Chandra. Who was called Rani? The Rani. There is a theory
Okay.
that Mrs. Flood is a bi-generation of the Rani, and that
Rani.
Belinda is the other half. I have also seen.
I didn't know they were both linked, but yeah, fine.
So that's a rumor.
Okay. I kind of like that rumor.
Oh god, Mike's gonna fucking kill you now. You're gonna have Mike and Will after you. They're gonna fucking rage in a
Bring
cage
it on,
you.
big boys.
They're gonna elimination chamber your ass. But
More like Hell in a Cell.
I have seen another theory that the Doctor and Belinda are, romantic partners.
Oh.
As in, she is the grandmother of Susan. As in, she is the person that the Doctor has his kids with. And then, so in terms of they are the start of the Doctor's family tree in terms of him having kids. I have had kids. I will have kids, kind of thing. Time travels all over the place.
What?
She is my granddaughter, or she will be, because I've not had her yet, which is weird, because that's not how it fucking works, Russell, but we know that.
What?
Because on the press tour, they keep referring to themselves as mum and dad. So are they the mum and dad of the kids that then have...
Who? The Doctor
Susan.
and Belinda?
Belinda, yeah.
They just refer to each other as mum and dad.
The actors have referred to each other as mum and dad when they've posted about the press tour. So there's a theory going around that they then become... It's timey-wimey. They then become a couple. Susan is then born in the finale because Susan is their granddaughter. And it
does kind of go a full loop.
It full loops back, and then it would kind of, in a really haphazardy way, be a nice full circle back to the very first episode of Doctor Who.
It would,
if this was to be the last episode of Doctor Who for now. But as Mike has said, Will said, maybe used to say, Susan's been meant to have, been rumoured to have been in every series since 2006. So take it with a pinch of salt.
I mean, that's the most valid bit of sort of, yeah. What? I wish they were here now because I want to talk with them about this because that's kind of broke my brain. I don't know how to take this news or discussion.
We will definitely have to actually.
I don't know what
schedule the round table.
I don't know what the fuck they're thinking
for post season, so that you can be in the same room as these people.
I don't know what to think.
Yes,
weird. In a good way, I don't know.
But forgetting all that,
fish fingers custard, is that a good thing? I don't know.
How was Shooty? Now that I've broken your brain with those things.
Yeah.
How was
Robots.
Shooty? How was Shooty for you?
Shooty, gorgeous as always.
Yes.
Lovely performance.
Lovely fashion choices this
Lovely
week.
Lovely fashion choices, yeah. Just same energy from the same positive vibes from season 1. He lights up the room in every single scene, and he's starting to feel, as always, doctory. I see a lot again. I keep seeing him paralleling with Tennant, more the 14th. Yeah, Shooty is just great as always. Shooty is
great. Shooty is
fabulous.
gorgeous.
Fabulous.
Shooty is love. Shooty is life.
Yeah, big time. But then Belinda's just as compelling of a character in the first.
I like that she's very sort of
non-typical companion.
Yeah.
Modern Who companion.
like a modern day Tegan. How am I going to
Sure.
get to Heathrow now?
Well, all she wants to do is get home.
Get
Drop off at Gatwick.
get Belinda home.
To Gatwick.
I like that it was like she was swept up in it. He had to save her. Bad stuff happened, and then it was like you said that to Sasha, and now she's dead. Like, do you say that to everyone? But
Yeah.
then I've seen a lot of people say that it's kind of on par with when Donna was in Runaway Bride, and she's like, "Is it how many women have you abducted? Is this like your friend, the
Is
one
this
you
your
lost?"
act?
And then it forces in like she's not dead, she's so alive. But then by the time they get to Ruby and Belinda hopefully meeting in the story in the engine or the well or whenever that is, it's the Pete McTeague one, because Pete McTeague is also the he's sort of the showrunner of War Between the Land and the Sea and head writer.
So episode 4, and that is going to be called Lucky Day.
Yeah,
It's going to be lucky that.
and it's got Ruby Sunday in it, so we'll see if maybe if them two interact, that it will bring sort of a more calming and trusted atmosphere. Because I know Russell has said that obviously she wants to get straight home, but she will fall in love with the adventure side of it. But it seems like it's going to be I don't want it to just be here's the adventure, yeah, cool, when can I go home kind of thing every week.
Yeah,
something's
that's
stopping them
gonna
from
get
going
old.
to Earth. Is that true?
Someone.
Is she going to believe him? Is there a greater entity
Yeah.
holding them back?
Is it the Pantheon again?
Yeah, the pantheon of villains, the pantheon of anagrams, as they call them.
The Pantheon of Anagrams.
It was the wrong anagram. It was Sutek.
And is Alan Cummings' character Mr. Ring a Ding Ding? Is he going to allude to
Is
some
Alan
ringers?
Cumming? Has he got a chair that says Alan Cumming? And is he in Avengers Doomsday? Is Mr. Ring-a-Ding in Avengers Doomsday?
Does he have a bell? Let's go Ring a Ding Ding.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Plot alert right here. Ring a Ding Ding.
But so the robots, the Miss Belinda Chandra bots, take her back
Yes.
to Miss Belinda Chandra 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has to marry the AI generator.
The AI generator.
Yes.
The AI.
Yes.
Understroke I.
Yes, we're taking
Yeah.
Planet of the Incels. Oh yeah, go Russell. Woo, it's the best thing. Yeah. Take a poke at those arseholes, yes. But it's not done. Is it done a lot in terms of that, or is it just, Russell's writing it because Russell wants to write that, I don't know. But I wasn't offended by it. If you're offended by Planet of the Incels, you're probably an incel.
Yeah.
Even though incel was a word. Is it a word? Is it a thing? Is anything a word? Is this even real? Are we even here?
Are we in a cell?
Maybe.
Is it hell in a cell?
Hell, maybe that's what it is. Hell in incel. Planet of the Incels. It's just Cody Rhodes and John Cena in a cage.
In a steel cage.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The Alan. Fuck, I've ruined it. But
The Allens.
the enemy of AI, or Al, which was a nice.
Wait, what?
Was a nice touch that it was a human that then got made into a robot.
So it's
because
artificial
Lintelligence.
Lintelligence.
London Investigation and Detective Agency.
Yeah. So Al instead of AI. What on
Al
earth
G Rhythm from
Al G-
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
would-
It was
Al
Don
G-
Cheadle all along.
What does that stand for? What does AL stand for? Artificial linguistics.
Division.
Ah,
The D's silent.
Yeah.
So, what did you make of that? Did you think he was very Cyberman-y and
Cyberman-esque. And the whole, before we got to the reveal, when we saw the AI generator with the whole face robot thing, I felt Dalek improvise, parting of the ways.
sort
I
of,
was
yeah.
like, in the terms of the room design, I was like, oh, this is very Dalek-y. Is this a twist within a twist?
Is
and
this
the
a
AI
twist
had
of fate?
Daleks?
Well,
Yeah.
do you think, in terms of you, because I think the viewership for the overnight was 2 million, but it was the second most show on BBC One, or I don't know, in terms of the percentage of the night, because it came right after the Gladiators final, so there was a lot of viewers left over from that, which would have been maybe would have caught the beginning, maybe would have stuck around for a bit, who knows? But obviously, in terms of Doctor Who on iPlayer, 70 million in 2024, 70 million views. A lot of people have said I'd be interested to know the breakdown of what eras, whether that's all classic, whether that's all New Who, whether that's Shooty era stuff.
For sure, yeah.
The annoying thing is the Doctor Who collection thing on there has been broken up because you've got certain stories that aren't on there because of licensing or need to be renewed, like Terror of the Zygons and things like that.
Terror of the Zygon and Seed of Doom, yeah.
Confidential's now gone. Didn't finish watching it. Really fucking annoying. That's the most annoying loss because of the fact of they don't exist on any home media in their fullest, and they were on there in their full. So that's annoying for me. I hope that gets license renewed and then put back on there.
ASAP, please.
Because that's not on there.
No. Oh wow.
I know certain things aren't on there. I think all the prom stuff is still on there. The celebration things, like the little like Science of Doctor Who, like Brian Cox thing.
Totally Doctor Who.
Totally Doctor Who is still on there at the moment, so I might have to rewatch that to satiate.
Before it goes.
My appetite for 2006 era spin-off Doctor Who television.
Sarah Jane, Torture Define, or are they not on there?
I think they're still on there. Yeah, as far as I know. I know that Curse of Clyde Langer wasn't on there. They were editing it for some reason and trying to get it on there. I don't know if it's the, a child being abused by his parents and being left on the street aspect, or if there's any. Because like with Fear Her, they edited out Hugh Edwards. So anyone that owns like a Doctor Who steelbook or copy of Doctor Who season 2, you've got like lost media in terms of the Hugh Edwards cut of Fear Her.
Hugh Edwards, yeah.
But he's been edited out and replaced. I don't know if there's any on-screen bits, but in terms of when you can just hear the telly of the Olympics, the voice is different. It's now a woman who I cannot think of, so I do apologise to her. But that's done right. But why is Hugh Edwards has still got a big prominent bit of, you can see him on the news in Skyfall, and that was 2012. But hey, to be fair, James Bond have got a lot of different things on their mind at the moment.
Like they do indeed.
Yeah. We'll have to get into that at a later date after Doctor Who. We can talk about that. But I like the design of the robots. They were
cool. I like the voices. Felt
pointless.
retro. Who? The robots or the voices?
Well, just the whole setup. It could have been, like you say, we could have had a twist. Had it, if you want to get bums on seats, it could have been the Cybermen. Would it have changed the plot that much? No.
No, Cybermen, Daleks.
That's for you, Mike. I know it comes later.
Yeah. I just wanted to call back to the robots of death.
Are you going to be gutted if this is the last series of Doctor Who and we've not had Shooty face the Daleks? Or the Cybermen, or anyone really?
Yes, because there's always going to be that part where you need a Doctor, Cyberman, Dalek story. With every incarnation, a la John Pertwee, you failed to get that, but unless Big Finish rectify that. Thankfully.
Well, yeah, there will be big finishes where he probably faces.
It happens. If the series don't get around to it, if for whatever reasons, then the audios hopefully can live on.
I do hope that there would be at least him because there is the old adage that you don't feel like you've played the Doctor until you've faced off against the Daleks.
At least.
And I know we've had a lot of Dalek Cybermen, or
it's the contract.
For some reason, we've had a lot of Cybermen and the Master.
We have. They've flipped that switch, yeah. But then maybe Shooty can flip the switch back, and that'll be season 3 and Russell's big plans. Daleks.
But you have had a lot of that in Chibnall's era, so it has,
Yeah, true.
It's in terms of.
Very true indeed. But those episodes were refreshing.
In terms of coming back from those, it's like, oh, you don't have to.
No.
He done the Daleks, the Sontarans, the Cybermen, all sort of within the space of the last few episodes of his. He done the Sea Devils as well. So there's not a big thing of like.
We could Shooty and Amara. If we're just talking classic monsters, I wouldn't mind a CGI and a big gorgeous snake.
But then does that lend back into like the only classic villain we've had, or seemingly will have in the Shooty Gatwa era, is Sutekh. And that, again, that's it's a villain that not many people will remember unless they're a hardcore Doctor Who fan or were alive when that story first went out. So doing the Mara would be similar, as much as you had at least two stories with the Mara, and you had Snake Dance and Kinder.
But we had the Arachnids in the UK. That weren't related to Planet of the Spiders at all.
No, but they were completely different spiders anyway.
They were.
I know you had a callback to Metabilis 3 in Hyde.
Yeah.
Because Matt Smith says it as Metabilis, because I think that's the way you're supposed to say it or something. I don't know. Metabilis 3.
Legopolis 3.
Legopolis! Bring back the tower. Bring back the astrology tower, and that Shooty Gatwa crashes his TARDIS into that, then falls off of that, and then regenerates. It's the end. But we've got no budget for next year, and it just ends.
It ain't prepared for.
Because that was originally how season 1 was going to end. Series 1 with
What,
Christopher Eccleston.
What, he's going to fall from the long game satellite?
No, not from that. He was going to... Fucking, he'd fallen a long way.
He's burned like the sun.
The original thing was the TARDIS screen would say life form dying, and then it would end, like a cold end, in case the show didn't come back.
Oh.
Because that's also why, you know, Russell took less chances and was less like, fuck you, I'm going to write what I want. Which is another thing that I feel like I'm stealing from the future. Mike says all this much better than me. Please stick around for when he's on. Speaking of which, do we go to them yet, or do you want to...
Do I want to what? What do I want to do?
Do you want to say anything more? Because I feel like we should round up the episode.
I thought it was good. The voices were cool. I liked the twist, but not the twist, the musical twist.
I like that Mrs. Flood was just she was in it and then she was
a
gone.
cameo.
It wasn't
You
like...
didn't see me.
It wasn't like a... Oh.
Remember me from last season?
Yeah, it wasn't like a... Oh, was that Mrs. Flood? Oh, no, I've got to go to space.
Yeah.
I've got to go to space and be relatively sexy.
It was mischievous.
I like the stuff with this, like him working his way up to being historian so he could be in the throne room with her for that time. What is the time fracture? What's caused it? Is it the live action shows from London?
I like the whole ninth word aspect of the plot. I thought that was cool. I did like the whole ninth word thing. I was, compared to the last couple episodes, I was just invested in the plot. As little as corny as cheesy as it might have been for Mike and Will's perspective, I was thoroughly engaged. I was entertained. I'm intrigued by Belinda and her whole arc, and we'll find out in 7 weeks' time whether it was all worth it or whether it will be another Empire of Death.
I hope it's not. And I
for the show.
I like. Oh dear. I like that. Shooty. There is layers to Shooty's Doctor. It's not just the happy-go-lucky thing. There, it is
he does cry a bit too much. No, just a hint. He cries 2 or 3 times.
He was, but I know in terms of screen time, but he knew Sasha for 6 months, so he was with her a long time. It's the same.
Screen.
It's the same as he established that relationship, albeit more on screen in Joy to the World.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I think
because Big Finish, that's your first Shooty set. It
is also weird that like, you know, the whole thing with Shooty was I'm okay because you got yourself better. Like, you know, we're Time Lords, we're doing therapy in reverse, it's a clever thing, but also like he is still in touch with his emotions. So maybe it is the bi-generation. He's exposed more. Like his nerves and his hearts are more susceptible to that, and he has gone through a lot because he is also dealing, for the first time that we have seen as an audience, he's dealing with being a ethnic minority a lot of the time, which is not something that's used in this episode per se, but obviously mainly in Dot and Bubble and things like that. In terms of going back to the past, it's more dangerous for him in terms of he's an authority that won't be listened to by the people because, you know, the racists will just be like, oh, well, we're not listening to you because you don't know what you're talking about, or we don't hang out with them and their kind of bullshit, which is, you know, something that he's not really, apart from Dot and Bubble, but then he wasn't really in that episode a lot physically. Apart from that, the fabulous way he played that final scene when it's like, despite all her horribleness with Lindy Pepperbean or whatever her fucking name is, he still wanted to save her from herself.
Pinkle Pepple, Dingle Dingle.
Yeah.
Boogity doo, diggity da.
La ta, tappy tappy too ta. But I like the facade of like the sort of laughy, jokey thing, but then there's something sort of 12 and 7 underneath. There's
for sure
maybe more manipulative, more seriousness, more 12.
There's certain master
12 with Clara, maybe sort of Cartmel master plan in terms of like, you know, he could be and it could, like he has done before, sort of like, you know, recycle old ideas. The fact that the Doctor was going to be manipulating Rose the whole time before Boomtown was an episode. It was going to be like he was manufacturing the perfect companion. Maybe you're sort of reusing those elements that he never got to that time round before he's, you know, while he still can write for the show. So maybe it's going to be a thing of like, because how does he get her to trust him
exactly
without, you know, taking control and like making her like
obey him?
Yeah. Sort of not obey him, but
I
sort
am
of like,
the Doctor,
you know,
you will obey me.
Oh, you can trust me because I do this, this, and this. So it's like, no, that's unethical and that's kind of out of line and a bit controlling.
Yeah,
I like that she's going to challenge him on that in a Donna kind of way.
For sure.
But it's also
less humorous, but it will still have a playful vibe.
Get me home right now.
I want to go home now. Yeah.
Is it just going to be that? Is there going to be a bit of like, I know she'll get caught up in the adventure. Will that distract her enough? Not be a thing of like, oh, Doctor, I want to get home. But this is magical.
This is magical. It's wonderful.
Because that whole thing of like, at the end, it's like, we're a time machine, we can go back any time. It's like, no, get me home.
Yeah, who cares? I've watched this show enough. I want to go home.
I like that in that episode, she was like, you know, she threw Sasha's death back at him.
Yeah.
Like in that same episode, like seeing that, learning from it, and being like, "Is this what you say to everyone?" kind of thing. How did she know what TARDIS was called?
Well,
This is your TARDIS. Does that lend more credence to the
to the
Rani
theory,
to the Rani doctor's wife husband theory? I
the
don't know.
big bang of a theory that we've unloaded on this
Maybe.
episode. Yeah, I don't
Overall,
know.
You could say your rating because I'd say it later on.
So on behalf of George, I'm going to speak for him and totally predict and know the score. So I'm going to say that George will give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. If I'm right, then you guys can let me know in the comments below. Now,
Connor will actually have to listen to the episode to find out.
What do you mean? I already have. And for me, I personally would give it an 8. I really liked this one. There's not as much surface level complaints or nitpicks I had with it. I'm very much intrigued. You know, the momentum's there. Ignoring the whole real world vagueness of shall the show carry on, I say I'm here along for the ride. I'm just going to go along with it and see what happens. And Alan Cumming is going to hopefully allude to some stuff next week, or just be a 2D troll and, oh look, I've got no backstory, I'm just a little toy, or whatever the quote was that you sent in the chat.
Do you want it to be like a straight up, like, there's the mystery box thing and we're going to sort of like play into it every week, or do you want it to just be a bit more standalone but it's bubbling on in the background?
Yeah, for sure. If it's going to bubble on and be in the background, I don't want the Pantheon to be in the background, if that is going to be a thing. Or are they going to hold off the Pantheon to be a Dalek Pantheon for Season 3? Who knows?
Who knows? But now, why don't we hear from Mike and DK on what they think in the episode?
Take it over, guys.
I'll actually have to edit it now, Mike. Go on, make your comments.
No.
Please welcome for the inaugural episode of Season 2 and possibly the final season of Doctor Who. Oh, God, it's starting off strong. For our review of Robot Revolution, we have the wonderful Mike Wilson and DK from Silver Screen Podcast and, you know, other such things that I've probably ruined and been in too much. Hello, gentlemen.
We've hit or miss Star Trek, hit or miss Doctor Who, and Silver Screen, which has itself multiple iterations. But yes, we're around the internet everywhere. But still, regardless, you ain't seen me, right?
Yeah, and there's not much ruining you could do on a podcast where Mike is already there. So.
Fuck you. I can swear on this one. I'm not editing it.
Oh my God, we've unleashed the inner Jill.
The inner Karen, more.
Wow. Well, every now and then one of them slips through the cracks. We try. The time fracture, the swear fracture. Ooh dear. Explicit language may be advised. So obviously, I've spoken to you, Mike, so much about Doctor Who. DK,
George, you've broken up. You're gone.
me just starting shit. Hello.
This is a good start. There we go. He's back.
Yeah.
Am I back? Oh
Yes.
God,
Yes.
God. DK, thank you for coming on and me not scaring you off like the previous times I've been on your podcast.
Oh, no worries.
So I'll start with you. What I've never really asked you, when was your first sort of foray into Doctor Who and why? Why do you like this show?
I have no idea, especially when my first story was Creature from the Pit. Yeah, I don't know. I liked being, I guess, like everybody that got addicted to Who during the classic era. It was kind of a thing about being addicted to being scared. Not so much the monsters. It was Tom Baker's big starey eyes.
And still is, because he's watching all of us deep down.
I'm not going to sleep now.
What would you say your favourite Doctor or serial / story / breakfast product is?
Cereal, I would go for Remembrance of the Daleks. I love that one, unashamedly. Favorite Doctor, I think I'm going to go with Hartnell, the original.
Oh, lovely! I like that.
Yeah, it took me a while to appreciate him, but yeah, now I do. I accept no substitute, as it were.
Oh, very nice. Well, I think it's a lot easier to appreciate Hartnell having seen everything that's come since, because he really did lay the groundwork that Without him, the show wouldn't be continuing. Tugs collar and looks at a
Definitely.
picture of Russell T Davis. So, what has been your opinion so far, DK, on?
Oh, you're gone again.
Yeah, you're gone.
Uh,
You left me in
sorry.
suspense.
Hello.
I mean, we can assume you were going to say your opinion on, I don't know, Shooty so far or something, but all we heard was your opinion on and then a gap. Oh, he's still gone.
He's gone again.
His internet is about as good as ours.
Is that any better? Am I back?
There we go. You're back.
You're back, yes.
I like that Mike immediately, completely correctly guessed what I was going to ask. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, I like Shooty. I think he makes a good Doctor. I enjoyed last season up until the finale. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but let's be honest, it wasn't great. But performance-wise, I can't fault him. I'm really enjoying his portrayal and hoping to see more of that as this, hopefully not the final season, goes on.
Yeah, I mean, you and me both. I really do enjoy Shooty as the Doctor. I think he's not really been allowed to sort of flex his muscles as much as other Doctors, but purely
No.
that's from an episode count standpoint. And obviously, filming sex. Is it gone again?
It
It
did
did.
briefly.
It did briefly, but it was funny because it was like, your sentence was, obviously he was filming sex.
He was obviously filming sex education, which resulted in honestly, if my internet goes, just carry on talking without me because Mike, you basically own this podcast now. You've killed one host, you can kill another.
God, no. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping we spend more time with him and like we get a third season. I'm not holding my breath because every day it fucking changes. So, should we just? I think fuck it and just go spoilers, right? On what we thought on this episode. I mean, Mike,
It's going to be nearly
the
week
ball
one
over
when
the
it comes
fence.
out.
let's have a stab at what you think. I love it.
Well, it wasn't Space Babies, so I'll give it that.
That's a big tick. Big tick for that.
If you want to start out on the one of the more positive aspects that I can give you, I loved Shooty and Varida's chemistry immediately, which seems really obvious, but sometimes it isn't with Doctors and Companions. And I was always gonna. I mean, I'm sure I've probably mentioned on the book because I was always gonna love Belinda because I love Varida because she's gorgeous and she's from around near where I live. So that's really all it takes for me. But no, I think she was. Yeah, well, it's been a while. But no, I thought she actually was really good, and I genuinely like what Russell has done with the idea of the companion. Like, for me, the quote of the episode and the thing that's sticking in my mind is, I am not one of your adventures, which I think is it's just a counterintuitive sentence from any companion. And I love the idea that she's just going to be going around going, yeah, this is all great, but can you get me home, please? Because we haven't really had that since Tegan, really. And even then, she was just basically whining most of the time. So, oh, this is a nice route. You do it better than me, but yeah. But, yeah. He's gone again, hasn't he? Yeah. So that was, oh, good Lord. So that was fun.
This is tragic. So I can't do
I queued you up and everything for an impression, and you're just gone. Oh, I don't want to have to host this episode.
It's weird, Mike, because you actually broke up as well while you were talking. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
I wasn't unsure whether it was my connection or.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Hey, and your made up
No,
name.
you're gonna get.
Oh,
there it is. You're back.
Oh, this is going to be on edge, isn't it? Fuck, what was he saying, Mike? What were you saying?
So yeah, I was saying I like the idea of a companion that doesn't really want to be there. Obviously, there's not going to be as much, like I said, Tegan style whining, because she obviously is going to be, I assume, in the course of, it's only like 4 or 5 episodes, she will be like, yeah, this is all great and everything, but at the end of the adventure, just be like, yeah, but home, please. So I kind of like that dynamic.
Yeah, are we getting past the laziness of blonde companion with a red name followed by a medical professional? Are we over that yet?
I think so, because Martha was she was immediately in love with the Doctor and wanted to be there, whereas Belinda just feels like she's not here for his shit, and that was my favorite bit about her. It's just like, yeah, you know, we've already dealt with one incel dickhead who thought he could tell me what to do, and you're just here, you know, analyzing me without consent and dragging me around the universe, and I'm not here for it. Thank you very much. Not since Donna have we had somebody that's like, yo, who the fuck you think you are, dude?
I was half expecting her to say you're just like Alan.
Yeah, a little.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. I'm seeing a bit more of manipulative Shooty. Like there's something bubbling under the surface. I think it's not completely happy-go-lucky and the laughs and the joy. There's a bit of 12 in there, I think.
Or 7 for that matter. Yeah.
The joyful Shooty that we saw in the specials, that seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside rather quickly.
Yeah. True.
Although I did like that he actually. There's kind of a reason for it because he genuinely had bonded with that poor Sasha girl who just got immediately killed, which you knew what was going to happen. I mean, the second she was like, "Take me to the stars, Doctor," I was, "Oh, you idiot, you're dead."
Yeah.
Just like Linda with a Y.
Well, some others, or Astrid, or multiple.
It is like saying, you know, to quote Tennant, it's like saying this is going to be the best Christmas Walford's ever seen.
So very true. Yeah, and I like that she threw back the whole thing about Sasha, like, you know, and that's what you said to her, and now she's dead.
Yes.
So I don't trust
is that what
you.
you say to all the girls?
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's nice to have, I've said this on our podcast that we recorded, but it won't be out for a couple of weeks, that it's nice to have a companion who's a bit more mature. I'm kind of over Russell T Davies writing doe-eyed 17-year-olds. So, you know, having a woman in her 30s who's a professional in her own right is a nice change.
Yeah, because we've not really had a... I mean, I know that Russell's toyed with... Like, I think it's in the writer's tale, isn't it, Mike, about being an older companion originally in Series 4?
Yeah, it was going to be Penny, who is in Series 4, Episode 1, but as a kind of joke, she's the journalist that gets kidnapped and can't deal with it. But yeah, that was going to be, until they realised they could just ask Catherine Tate to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've not had someone sort of on a more mature level than the Doc. I don't think... Have we in New Who? Because certainly not fucking Jack or Mickey.
There probably are actresses who have been older than the person playing the Doctor because they're usually quite young. But other than, like I said, I think the best thing I can say about Belinda is the vibes I'm getting so far are kind of Donna, but she can't even be bothered to be his kind of best friend. She's just not here for any of this crap.
It would be interesting to me to see, and obviously I'm not sure when this episode's going out, whether episode 2 is aired by this point, if it picks up on the vibe that he's manipulating her. I mean, he said, "Oh, I'm definitely going to take you straight home," and then obviously there was a problem. Is she going to believe that there was a problem, or is she going to believe that he's just stringing her along?
Yeah, possibly be a conflict that runs through the series of, are they actually going to trust one another? It's going to be quite a fractious companion-doctor relationship, which is a nice change.
The opposite. Yeah, I have heard the opposite from Russell T Davies because he did say, like, oh, she doesn't want to be there and she's reluctant, but obviously she immediately falls in love with this grand adventure and this great, crazy time traveler and everything. I'm like, oh, that's a shame. It would have been nice to have at least a couple of episodes of her, like, not being sure.
Yeah. But this is the same man that tells us that it's coming back. No, news round viewers will have to do it. Oh, but I don't know. Oh, it's marvelous, but it's shit, but it's gone wrong. I don't know. Who am I?
But I know exactly how it's going to end. I just haven't written it because I don't know how it ends yet.
I don't even know how it starts. Even though the episode went out, I didn't actually write it.
As long as we get to a finale that doesn't feature heavily someone pointing at a street sign, I'm fine with it.
No, I think we should double down. And it should be, sorry, Mike, it should be someone pointing at their name badge. Look, you're a nurse because the careers officer pointed at it.
Belinda happy to help or something. Yes. So either he's gone.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes. You're back.
Thank God for that. I think the episode was a bit of a slow burner at the start, but it wasn't the worst opener I think I've ever seen. It generally, I think, gathered momentum as it went on, and I think once we got to Miss Belinda Chandra 1, I think that's when it started getting more interesting.
Right. Okay.
it was a slow burn, and then everything sort of happened all at once. And
I'm kind of being quiet because I don't know if I agree that it was a slow burn. I think it was all kind of rushed. Like I've seen photos and stuff of scenes of Belinda's life before she gets captured or whatever, and it just feels like we were desperately rushing to get to the title sequence kind of moment, and then we were rushing to get to the planet. And for me, all of the stuff that was like related to this episode, the plot of the episode itself, not the stuff outside of it, is the weakest stuff. Like I thought it was just crap. To be honest, I was like, I'll give you points for the acting and for setting up the characters of, Belinda and the way she interacts with the Doctor. All the stuff about Alan and the computer, really leading the planet and the robots and stuff, absolutely dreadful. She hated every bit of it.
I wasn't. To me, and I know we've talked about this, Mike, it felt like a bit of a greatest hits for a season opener. You had the Doctor. You had elements of the Partners in Crime. You had a little robot that said its catchphrase every couple of times for the merchandise buffs. It was, I don't know. Some of it seemed okay. Some of it, like the big lumbering robots, you just kind of think, okay, we've seen this kind of thing so many times now.
Yeah, even the funky like pictures on the robots' faces are just basically smile from the Capaldi. Yes. It's like we've been here.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you did like, Mike? Other than
As I said, it's a game of two halves for me. It's 50-50. I like everything around the characters. And I am intrigued by the mysteries, but I refuse to say I like them because it will depend a lot on how they pay off. And I'm still bitter about last season. And if they pay off this big mystery with, you thought something was important and it wasn't when you're the one that told me it was important in the first place, I'll just be increasingly annoyed. And I know that's not going to happen, but I have seen the kind of brief interview where Russell was like, "Oh, I'm not even going to explain Mrs. Flood. It's just funny if you don't." I'm like, "Don't even freaking joke about it, man." Because I swear to God, if it turns out the big reveal about her is, I don't know, she's just nobody, I guess, just has a magic power. Be like, "Sure, I will kill you."
I will break into your house while you sleep. I think the thing as well is because these were filmed so close, like because there wasn't a big gap, was there? Because
there was a few weeks, because I did look into that when you had mentioned it, but yeah, there was like I think they had a 4 or 5 week break between the end of season 1 and the start of filming season 2. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that's because was Shooty already going to be doing? He was already something was planned anyway, so there was going to be a bit of a gap before this whole fiasco, whether season 3 will or won't happen.
Yeah.
So do we think?
Yeah, I think he was in a play or something, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Do we think that because obviously, even though he says to Stephen Moffat, like, "Oh, I've not written any scripts right Christmas," but he's probably written some scripts, or he's paid someone else to write them. Like, do we think that because he kind of wrote a lot of this at one time, that it's, like with some shows, you get like the audience feedback, so you can like, as the season's going out, when you're starting to write a new season, you can be like, "Oh, they like this, they like that." Which obviously,
I don't think Russell
the audience, because then you get like weird gatekeepy shit. But do you
think
there's problems with that?
Sorry to interrupt. I don't think Russell T Davies gives a flying fuck what any of the audience think. I think he could not care less. I think the By Generation proved that. He was on commentaries and everything going like, "Yeah, I knew it was going to be controversial. Doctor Who fans can't accept chains and frankly tough." And then the whole thing about the bringing back Davros, but he's not disabled, and it's like, well, tough shit. If you don't like it, it's my show. I really don't think he gives a crap what fans think. It's like, well, I'm making it, so until you're making it, I'm going to do it my way. And there's a lot of stuff in here that you can kind of see with that. Like, for me, it didn't deal with the whole incel, which is a phrase I hate, by the way. It didn't deal with the incel thing particularly well. Everybody's commending it like, "Oh, I can't believe Russell T went there because it's so brave. You normally don't go there because you'll get shitloads of them actually complaining on the internet." And I was just like, yeah, but it was so tame and really poorly done. It was the most base level shit for me. Like, I'd have rather seen him probably dig a bit deeper into it, if anything. Maybe that was just me. I don't know if you felt the same way, DK and George.
I just don't think there was enough time in the episode to deal with it. I mean, you could have chucked another couple of lines in, but it was so stuffed towards the end. It did kind of lose me for the briefest moment where it went all David Lynch, and then it comes up.
It went all 2001. Is what it did.
Yeah, and then it turns into a jizz mopper, and then before you know it.
I have my soapbox about that as well. Believe me.
You and soap, I don't believe that.
Do you want to hear my rant about this stuff?
Go for it. I love your rants.
I hate the double, and I know I always come back to the same thing, and it's a stuck record at this point. But I hate the fact that, like back in the Jodie Whittaker era, people were just like, "Oh, I know they're horrible, but you can't wipe out entire fleets of Daleks and Cybermen and whatnot without giving it a second thought. It's just you've got to at least show a bit of remorse, or she's pure evil." And yet in this one, you've got like a human being, a man, getting turned into jizz, mopped up, and the Doctor's response is to piss himself laughing, do a jig, and say, "Yas, Queen." Like, really? It's a bit fucking heartless, isn't it?
Yeah, but in fairness, he is an incel.
Yeah, but in fairness, we're talking, well, that excuse wasn't when it was like, oh, we're talking Daleks and fictional, like, the worst of the worst, and people were like, still, they should show some kind of remorse. But when it's a man, it's like, nah, it's fine, it was funny. What the fuck, man?
I'm resorting to Big Finish kind of mixed messages here, but he's okay with space fascists, but he didn't get on with H.P. Lovecraft because H.P. Lovecraft was a bit of a racist. So,
well, I mean, he's also best mates with Winston Churchill. Let's not go carry away.
Yeah,
Either way, it's not so much the fact that it happened; it's the fact that the audience responds in such a way that's massively hypocritical. And I just feel like, and it was the nature of the response as well. It was the way it was written as just like, if it had been just for a gag, but the Doctor's response had been, "Oh no, oh well, okay." But the way it was like, he was joyously like, "Ha ha! I mopped up the jizz, man! Ha ha ha! Isn't this great?"
That'd have been a better quote.
I did love the little shooty moments in this, such as the. Even if it doesn't make an incredible lot of sense sometimes, and you can pick it apart, I did love the whole exposition with every ninth word, and because it's shooty, I love the little dances he gives when he's trying to, at the end with explanations, and people are talking, and it's just like he doesn't care. He's just grooving away.
Yeah, and I did like I said, I like the character stuff with that exception of that one kind of gloriously celebrating a guy's death. I liked all the character stuff with him. I love the stuff where he put up the blanket and was like, "See, I've got two hearts and everything." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool." And this is a really cool touch. And again, my other favorite line of the episode, because it'll piss off all the right people, but it's just the perfect thing, is when Belinda's like, "Well, which is the better kind of reproductive system or circular system or whatever?" And the Doctor's response is, "If you start asking which body's the best, you're going down a slippery slope." And of course, her response of like, "Yeah, that's the truest thing anybody said all day." Like, yes, fuck you, racists.
Yeah.
No, very true, very true. I did like all them little touches. I like that it is just, there is the joy, but there's something else happening. Whether we're going to see that sort of culminate through the next 7 episodes, but
that's what worries me. There's too many mystery boxes, and I don't trust RTD, especially now, to pay them off. And I've got too many big questions about like who is this guy that the Doctor says informed him about Belinda, and why when the robots get the certificate he already mentioned. How did that happen? There's too many things to resolve, and I know what Russell T's like. It's going to be, where's it come from? Why is there a destroyed Earth when it was supposed to be halfway to the Earth or whatever? And what's actually gone wrong? Why can't they get back to that time? And yeah, I'm okay with I don't know what's coming, but I'm writing a bit at a time. But not when you're not J.J. Abrams or Stephen Moffat. You can't set up like 20 mysteries and then just go, don't know the answer to them yet, but I'm sure I'll work it out.
Do you think? He says he was kind of influenced by The Last Jedi with Ruby turning out to be not kind of very important. Do you think it's possible he's going to pull a Rise of Skywalker here and try and retcon that as well?
No, I don't think he cares. Like I said, I don't think he gives a shit, and I don't think he's not going to make a series that's just all fan bait, because he doesn't really give a shit whether you like it or not. And in some ways, that's good. I mean, I do like that he still is unashamed to be like, yeah, I'm going to have a go at the incels. Why not? Yeah, I'm going to attack like gender politics and racism and shit like that. And like, yeah, fair play. Keep going for it. And even the moment where like where the Doctor genuinely cries because Sasha's dead. And I was like, oh, this is going to annoy some people. And yep, sure enough, everybody was like, oh, didn't think it'd be the first episode where the Doctor's crying. I'm like, best mate for 6 months just died. What do you want him to do? You know what I mean? It's, have some heart, man.
It is the same man that didn't go back for what's her face from Joy to the World, though. Like, oh, I had a lovely year with you. Bye.
He did send somebody else to get her and give her a life, though. It's not like he was just, haha, you've turned into jizz and mopped up.
If you're lucky.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
I really hated it. I truly did. I mean, I'm not only is the resolution a terrible Deus Ex Machina, which is RTD all over, but to finish it off with that stupid joke when you could have done anything, it's so bad. It's reminiscent of like Ursula Blake making a blowjob joke at the end of Love and Monsters. It's just terrible.
We even have a bit of a love life. But it's a similar sort of ending to Boomtown. The fact that it's just like, oh, you're fucking. But instead of like getting to live again, it's just, oh, you're in a Hoover, you're a fucking a wank in a Henry Hoover is all essentially all you are now.
There's a T-shirt I'd love to have one day. But no,
This
I
would be
mean,
perfect.
even
Evil Dan. What's the point in being alive?
But even when it comes to the actual, like I said, Deus Ex Machina ending, if you pardon the fancy words, like it doesn't make sense within the kind of lore of the series that RTD established. Like I was talking about this to Will, and I was like, so when the two things touched, shouldn't there technically have been a fracture and the Reavers appeared to try and cleanse the timeline? Or have we now decided this is happening differently just because?
Yeah. How does it function in comparison to like other paradoxes that have existed in the same show written by the same man?
Exactly. And that, I guess, if you go back to series 1, Father's Day has established what happens, and it's there. It's written in stone. But Russell's like, no, that doesn't happen now just because I said it doesn't. Well, at least give a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but is that going back again, or is it, obviously he thinks the Reavers are just a one and done.
Well, yeah, but then at least explain the
Possibly.
situation. You can't just go like, well, and then to have Belinda be like, I've seen films, two things from different times can't touch. You haven't seen that in films. I watch a lot of films. That rarely, if ever, comes up. You're not allowed to have two things.
Maybe she watched Mordred Undead.
That's not a film. That's something else entirely. But no, I mean, there's often they'll mention you're not supposed to interact with your past self because of changes in the timeline. But it's not like you watch Back to the Future and it's like, "Ooh, don't touch yourself, Marty. There'll be a big explosion or whatever."
Yeah. Literally, there will be a big explosion if you touch himself.
See,
Polish
what we
will
needed
come round
is
and clean you up.
what we need is Belinda saying, "Yes, Doctor, it's the Blinovich limitation effect. I'll tell you about it later."
That's not what you need. That would have been the ultimate. Like, I was listening to Radio Free Scaro and they were like, I'm kind of glad they didn't say that because that really would have just been fan wank, where most of the audience are just going, what? Is that a reference to? So I'm kind of glad they avoided that pitfall at least.
I mean, I'm loving this, but I'm kind of running out. What else do we talk about? How good Shooty's costumes were, because that's still a thing. Is that he just wears all the clothes all the time and he just looks fucking amazing. I'm looking.
Oh yeah, some people didn't like that. I think I saw somebody that was like, "Oh, the bottom half would have worked, but not both together." And I was like, "Well, I'm not the most fashionable person, but I thought it looked pretty."
Yeah,
fire, to be honest.
I kind of dug that get up.
Yeah,
I mean, he even rocks a plain linen, linen suit.
The really drab sort of, what's it, historian costume or whatever that he's got on. Yeah. Like you, I kind of liked the every ninth word thing, but it also reeked of like RTD, like I said. Awful lot of this episode just reeks of him going, I can be Stephen Moffat, and it's him trying to prove he can be clever for no legit reason other than, why not? So that struck me as like, I'm going to be really... Right. Well, yeah, exactly. This is the thing, isn't it? And that's why I'm worried about what the big resolution is going to be at the end of this season, because he isn't Moffat. And even Moffat, like, to be honest, fucked that up more than once when he was coming to the
even
end
Moffat
of
wasn't
explaining
Moffat
that stuff. Exactly, so I'm a little concerned, but yeah.
But he's only writing... Is he writing 4 or 3 episodes this season?
He's writing 3.5 because one of them's co-written with somebody else.
That's good. So there's more new blood in it.
4.5 because he's written this Robot Revolution and he's written Lux on his own. Then Noel is written with, I think, Sharma Angel Waterfall. I think that's the name. Apologies if I've got it wrong. And then he's writing the 2-part finale himself. And the rest is Pete McTighe's writing his own story. So is Juno Dawson, and so is the third writer, whose name I've criminally forgotten, who's doing the engine one, whose name I've forgotten as well.
Thomas the Tank Engine, the episode.
I can't remember. That's fun to like the Ghost in the Engine or something, but anyway.
He wrote 6 last season, didn't he?
Or
7 if you include Church on Ruby Road.
7 out of 8 because they only... No, hang on. 7 out of 9 because then Moffat did Boom and the Loki writers, Kate and Brian, he did Rogue.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And
7 of 9.
At least he didn't write the Christmas special, and then you've had him, 4 out of 9, so he's not got the majority 4.5 out of 9. So it's literally bang on half of
Pretty
like
much,
this
yeah.
block. So
Do you
I'll be
think-
interested to see once we get to episode 3 and so on, like where if there is an overarching thing of I want you to build to this because this is where I'm going, or if he just goes, just write whatever the fuck you want and I'll make it work later. And if I don't, who gives a shit,
Well-
because we're not coming back next year.
Do you
Yeah,
think the
well-
people that praised his returning are kind of having second thoughts with regards to it?
I think that immediately happened with all the people that were just like, "Oh, RTD's back. It'll be like the old era. We're getting rid of all this woke Chibnall woman doctor stuff." And then, Moffat's first episode back, it was like trans woman. Here
Yeah.
you go. And they were all
But
like, "No, woke."
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at last season's finale, and they were just saying, "Oh, I was so disappointed," and did they never see Stolen Earth?
I don't mind Russell. A lot of people, including your friend Jill on our podcast, really shit all over RTD1, and I really don't mind a lot of that. I don't think any of his finales were as bad as Empire of Death. I'll put it that way.
It's event television RTD1, isn't it? It's always like trying to compete with himself and just trying to make it like everyone's going to watch it this week. It doesn't necessarily matter if it works or not,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
which I hope he's kind of got to not do that, because if they need the viewers for it to come back, or unless he's sort of resided to that and just gone, well, I'll just let it play out however I want because, someone else will. The news round kids will make it.
Yeah. I do
Well, I
think
think-
he's like that. I think he doesn't care about like mass appeal or taking off the wrong areas of the audience or whatever. I think he's making what he wants to make. And as you said, he was writing series 1 and 2 so back to back anyway that he wouldn't have changed course from what he had in mind, I assume, initially, just because he'd heard backlash. And even then, like I said, he's the kind of person that's so stubborn that when he hears the backlash, his response to it, even if it's legit, is just tough shit. My show, my rules.
Yeah.
So,
I remember when he was doing his first tenure, and he was saying people keep writing in, and why? This isn't a contest.
yeah, exactly. It's not a democracy. It's a T. Davies dictatorship.
But I mean, they're already spread. I did read yesterday. They're already kind of spreading doom and gloom about the viewing figures, saying it's the lowest. They got
I knew
about
that.
2 million, but they're still
Yeah,
not
I know,
taking into account streaming.
But no, it's not just that. I did and almost posted this in our Discord because I knew that would happen as soon as they saw the actual figure was 2 million. But what they don't tell you is that in context, it was the second highest BBC One show after the Gladiators final and the 4th highest show of the day. So it's not that Doctor Who's doing badly. It's that people aren't watching broadcast television at all.
No.
And between the people that
But
are,
do you
it's
think
actually
they're
doing
kind of
really
reporting this? Do you think
No,
they're kind of
no.
reporting this as if giving them give them an excuse to finish this at the end of this season and just say, look, it wasn't getting good viewing figures. We decided to retire it for a little while.
I don't think the actual people that make the decisions would say that or would do that because they know there's more to it and they would be looking at things like iPlayers and merchandise and stuff. But I think that the same usual suspects that are like, oh, go woke, go broke, will use it as an excuse because it's convenient, even though in context it's bullshit and doesn't make any
Oh,
sense.
definitely. I mean, you've seen this play out with Star Trek. You've seen it play out with Star Wars recently.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what was it somebody said the other day was like, well, Star Trek Discovery was an abject failure. And they were like, man, I really want to have an abject failure that relaunches a franchise, creates 2 spin-offs, gets 5 successful seasons. It's like, yeah, man, if you're defining that as a failure, I'll take it.
But let's be fair, these people aren't exactly rooted in reality.
Well, exactly, yeah, that's it.
Most people on the internet aren't, though, are they?
Well, exactly, yeah. People that are, calling for its cancellation will always do it, and they'll use any excuse to point to it's bad and this is why, even if it's, like you said, it's divorced from reality. But it's BS. I don't, objectively, I don't see it as that different a show than it has been since the 60s. It's always tackled these things. It's always done, social storylines and stuff like that. We've proved that when we've been doing our podcast. I mean, we're 3 or 4 episodes in at time of recording that we've recorded. And the amount of times we've been like, well, that's actually really horribly relevant to today. And wow, this would be called woke today if you'd put it out or whatever. And yeah, it's always been the same.
Yeah.
The third story, they tackle the Daleks, which are an allegory for the Nazis. So,
Well,
they've always,
now they weren't. They're an allegory for the Roman salute. They were saying they were bringing their hearts out to the people of Scarborough.
Yeah, giving
They're
love to
Nazis.
everyone.
yeah, especially to the back, which no German dictatorship kind of made sure you hailed the chief, as it were.
Yes, exactly. In the words of The Simpsons, no one who speaks German could be an evil man.
God, I was just going to use that line.
We meet at last, wherever you are. Are you too worried about the whole situation, or are you just like hoping that this season's good regardless?
A bit of both. I do want it to be good, if only to kind of put the naysayers back in their pocket. But I am worried about how it's going generally. Not in any kind of sense, oh, it's too woke or anything like that. Because it's always been like this. I just want to continue. I was like this, back when my boy was playing it, even though I didn't watch half the episodes back then.
Well, then you can't comment. No, I'm the same. I mean, I criticized this episode and I got a lot of shit for it on our Discord, and it's kind of like, I'm not criticizing it because I'm one of these people that wants it cancelled. I love the show as well, which is why I want it to be better. And when I see what's bad writing, I'm going to call it out and just be like, can you please improve? Because you're not going to get to carry on if your writing is just the last consideration.
I mean, every series has had its share of episodes and bad episodes. I mean, you look at RTD's first season, we had Dalek, but we had end of the World War III. So it's I don't know. Space Babies. You look at Space Babies and you think it's not as great as it used to be. But is that just us?
But then again,
expecting more these days?
Is it that Doctor Who's not as good, or is it that Russell T is either not as good or isn't as good as people said he was? Because you watch Boom and Moffat is as good as he ever was. And that was just last season. I mean, I'd put that up against any episode in the 60 years of the show as being like top-notch stuff. But should that be happening in a series that he's not the executive producer of, when it's RTD's show?
I think he had said everything he wanted to say by the time the first time, and I think he's just come back as A, kind of nostalgia, and B, I'm assuming the BBC gave him an absolute dump truck full of money to do it, and I think he's now treating it as a job, but his heart may not be in it as much as it was during his first run.
I mean, it's all speculation, but I actually think the opposite. I think that he was restrained during the first run because he knew that if, there's a chance it only runs for 1 year and doesn't come back, and he was looking at popularity and trying to keep, people appeased to a certain degree. I think when he came back for the second one, he was like, I'm going to write whatever fan wank I possibly want, and nobody can stop me.
But do you think it's, I mean, back then, it was appealing to like a younger age range because of the amount of toys. It weren't just the adults buying the toys, which I know is news for us anyway, but it kind of captured the youthful imagination. Do you think that youthful imagination is still there? Is it picking up younger viewers? I mean, at that point, if it's RTD, why couldn't you go full, maybe Dark Season or even Second Coming and just make something more adult and thinking, well, nobody's watching this anyway? I mean, you have to fill it with curse words and sex and stuff, but you could put more mature themes into it, thinking, well, might as well just do what I can now.
Be careful what you wish for. When he was actually given free rein to do that, we got Torchwood Miracle Day, and frankly, I'd rather have nothing than that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But Miracle Day was made longer by the Americans. He only wanted to do 5 episodes.
Yeah, but it was his story idea, and the story idea itself is bullshit. You know what I mean? This whole, it's so bleak, death doesn't happen, so everyone's going to be horribly tortured and in pain and agony, and it's like, Jesus, RTD, who hurt you?
Well, yeah, I mean, very true. But I think also because it was previously on the podcast with David Tennant that he was brought back to be like, we need someone that's going to be in a room with these executives and stand up for the show, essentially, like someone who's a big enough personality and name to basically back themselves up and fight the corner. That's
kind of my point, is that, and that's fair enough, but I think you're tearing yourself in two if you're the person that's in the room making the decisions and standing up to the producers, but you're also the head creative force that's writing the whole thing. I don't know if you can get away with being both. And I think what's suffering is Russell's writing, because there's nobody to kind of stop him from going a little bit far sometimes, or get a good second draft, tell him if something's just coming across a little bit weird or crappy or anything. And I think to a degree he has kind of, he's got high off his own supply as well, and it's just like, I'm Russell T Davies. I brought the show back. I clearly know what I'm doing. I can write anything, and it's like, no, man, you really can't. Seriously, sometimes give somebody a pass at one of your scripts, man.
Yeah, it's becoming more a case of, I bring you back into this world. I'm going to take you out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
do you think you would have rather him be one or the other, come back and been like a producer in terms of just doing the story, and then someone else, like, because what's Julie Gardner doing? It doesn't seem like she's been making, or Jane Tranter, like, have they been making any decisions, or have they just kind of been like, well, Russell's the head of this thing, so we'll let him do it? Or would you rather him have been
that's the problem,
a producer and then had someone like Moffat be like, you do the story, I'll make sure the show gets made?
Yeah, or even
definitely.
it doesn't even have to be that Moffat's doing all of the story. It can be that Russell T Davies is like, I've got an overall outline for what I want to do. Here's what it is. Now you do the actual writing of it, please. Because it can still be his idea. It doesn't have to be like, I've got to give up complete creative control. But when you're writing, like you said, like at least 50 to 60% of a season, and also you're supposed to be doing the meetings, the publicity, the commentaries, the debating back and forth with Disney and the various countries and everything. It's leaving you, no real room for the creative endeavor of it, and he's not as good as he thinks he is. I mean, I know it's controversial. As soon as he was, when he was announced to come back, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm so excited because it's not just RTD. It's RTD after writing quality stuff like It's a Sin and all the stuff he's done." And I'm like, he's still not a very good science fiction writer. I don't get what you say.
When I think it's like this discussion that we had the other day. He brings out the best in other writers.
Yeah,
he doesn't necessarily have the best writing style himself for this kind of thing. With the with the best will in the world, I mean, he has given some good episodes, and I like some of his episodes, but it just seems to, I don't know, kind of be a lot of diminishing returns. And what used to be event TV, it just feels like nobody's going, oh my God, you've got to see Doctor Who this weekend, or did you see it over the weekend? Nobody's saying that anymore.
I think that was inevitable, though. I think you only got that because the show had been away for 16 years, and it was a cultural event to relaunch it. Like, I think you're going to get that, for example, no matter how good or bad it is when the next James Bond film comes out, because there's been that much of a gap. And you saw it with Star Wars. There was a huge gap. So when it came to The Force Awakens, it made billions because everyone just wanted to see what the next Star Wars would be. Then they saw it and the next film bombed because everyone was like, oh, I'm all right, thanks. It's kind of, there's always going to be that initial push of people like, oh, this is something I'm aware with that hasn't been here and now it's come back. And then, I mean, you're 15 seasons, 20 years into this now. It's not going to have the same amount of excitement from people because it's had so many iterations, and it's the kind of show that changes so much anyway, so that even if somebody watched it and loved Eccleston or Tennant or Rose Tyler or Freema Agyeman's character or even Matt Smith or whatever, this isn't the same thing. You have to readjust to it every time.
But do you think it's not changed enough to pick up a new audience? Do you think the only people that are watching it now are the people that's kind of been watching it?
I think the opposite. I think the opposite. I think it's because too many people are inherently quite fickle. If you forgive me being a bit misanthropic for a second, and I think you hear so many times people that have like, oh, I stopped watching. I haven't watched it since Smith, since Tennant, since Capaldi, since whatever, and it's because it reinvents the show, but it also gives you a really convenient jumping off point if you don't want to, be married to this thing time and time again.
Yeah.
Sorry, George.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. It's kind of, it is a show that has to embrace change in order to carry on, but it's also, like you say, we're 20 years in and the show's not changed drastically that much. I know it's always been sort of like with every changing of the show, right? It's like, oh, it's a completely brand new thing, but it's also always the same show and always a completely different show. Because it will kind of appeal to that same audience. It's not like something completely drastic has changed for it to be like, right, we're going to, because who was it that was talking about? Was it like Dan Slott or someone that was like, have it so...
You broke up again, dude. That was really what you said there. Sorry, you have to repeat that. I really want to hear what you were saying that time.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
Yes. You said Dan Slott or somebody had said something and then I didn't hear what you'd said. Go for it. Come on. Work, internet. I'm on Tenterhooks here. Oh,
like a season be the miss.
There we go. Start again.
Can you hear me?
Nope. Back. Are you back yet, George? There we go.
Am I here?
Please start again.
You are.
Yes, I want to hear what you said. Please.
Okay,
go.
I believe Dan Slott said how he would do Doctor Who would be the Doctor and the Master have a fight. There's an explosion. Both regenerate, and the whole season is you don't know which one's the Doctor, which one's the Master. Like, it would only last for like 1 year because you couldn't do that for like, here's 3 seasons of there may be the same.
I think that's falling into the same trap and it's the same kind of thing that you get with Star Wars and Star Trek and whatever else, in that you kind of have to accept who you're writing the thing for. Are you writing it for a mass audience? Are you writing it for the hardcore fans? Or are you trying, which you will inevitably fail, to write it for everyone? Because that just doesn't work. And if you want to do something like that, it's going to, Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, obviously RTD, you can kind of tell he's pissed off because he thought, oh, with Disney money and the kind of extended reach, it's going to become this stratospheric thing that everybody will love. And it's kind of like, no, it won't, because you're still writing something that appeals primarily to fans of this thing. Your average person in the street's not going to be like, have you heard Doctor Who's good again? Oh, let's chuck that on Disney Plus. It's like, there's, especially on Disney Plus, because there's 1,000 other choices, you know? Yeah, anyway.
Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to plug my computer in. It's suddenly said it's no power, so bear with me.
Oh
dear, there's technical issues abound. But no, I completely agree with everything you're saying in terms of it hasn't changed enough to bring in a new audience, and you're going to be just appealing to the same ones anyway, no matter how hard you try it. And the Disney money has almost sort of been like, oh, well, now it's almost like, well, you've got this, and now everyone's got to watch it, otherwise it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't buy that, and I know that I'd end up falling out with Stephen Moffat because he's always like, I can't have enough money and it needs to be great, and I'm like, it really doesn't. I mean, if you go back to writing stuff with high school play budget and a bit of string and paper plates, as long as the writing's good, it's still going to be good. I mean, we all watch stuff, like I said, from the 60s and shit, and it's like, if it's a good story, it's a good story, whether it costs $100 or $1 million. If it's good writing, it's good. If it's bad writing, it's bad. You can't elevate bad writing by making it look amazing, and it doesn't hurt a great story if you have to suspend a bit of disbelief every now and then.
You just look at Zack Snyder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just his face, not even his work.
I did want to mention one thing before we go, because we probably won't have long. So what did you make of this? What did you make of the whole Mrs. Flood thing? Because we obviously, spoiler alert, we've kind of been told now we're going to see her every episode, just dotting throughout time and space this season. So it's a little bit of an extra kind of power that she's got on top of the whole fourth wall breaking. But I don't know if it's a generational thing, but certainly like mine, DK's, and my dad's generation all made the same fast show joke when she turned the camera and was like, "You ain't seen me," which is why I've got this avatar, because it's just like, we spent a good hour or something making fast show jokes and comparing Mrs. Flood to fast show characters after the episode.
Unless we, like you say, unless we find out who Mrs. Flood actually is, which Russell might or might not do, depending how he feels that morning when the episode goes out. I don't know, because it was just I like that it was a nice thing of, oh shit, that's her. Like, is it the same woman? Is it another version of her, kind of thing? Like, it's just, oh, she's her neighbor as well, and then like, oh, then the Doctor comes, and it is very pantomime and that, like, oh, you haven't seen me, and then runs off, and then I like that it's left there. It's not like a thing of like, wait a minute, that was Thingy. Anyway, I've got to go to space and deal with this and clean up some sperm. Like, it just kind of, it was like it was a scene and then it was gone. As long as it's kind of building towards something worthwhile, I don't mind. But I know there's been leaks or apparent stuff with it that a lot of people aren't very happy with.
Yeah, including me. If it turns out to be true, I almost don't want to share because it sounds terrible. But then again, the 60th anniversary rumor sounded terrible and turned out to be true. And if it does, I don't want to. Yeah. Well, the rumor has it that, and I really hope it sounds terrible. So I really hope this is not true. The rumor goes that Mrs. Flood is a bi-generated version of the Rani, and that's where the name comes from. Flood equals rain equals Rani, and possibly either the other bi-generated half of her is Belinda somehow. Although I don't buy that part. That's not part of the rumor. That was Will Templar's speculation, if you must credit somebody. but yeah, but the bi-generation kind of created Mrs. Flood, and she's like one half of the Rani. And I hate this because not only does it not explain the fourth wall breaking, it doubles down on the whole kind of problem with Sutekh, which is nobody over a certain age is going to know who the heck this character is. And brings up bi-generation, which I just want to be done with. I never want to hear that fucking word again.
But
and if he doubles down and makes it a key plot point, I'm gonna absolutely murder him. I swear. I will strangle him in his Welsh sleep.
In defense of it, though, like if it then links back to the bi-generation that happened had an effect, and it actually was more than just every Doctor's sort of alive, yet somehow not. So we're going to have Tales from the TARDIS, sort of, but not this season, like sort of thing. Like if it made it like any Time Lord or anything out there, like that kind of like for that moment, if they regenerated, it kind of like burst through the timelines or maybe retroactively was part of the time fracture. I wouldn't hate it because it would sort of give it a bit of a.
I don't want anything to do with bi-generation. It was a bad idea, and it's like, okay, I've come to peace with it as long as we leave it in the past and be like, it was a one-off thing that was magic, but it was allowed to happen because the Toymaker happened to be there and was the one that initiated it, and then let's just leave it well enough alone, you know.
I'm kind of the same with the Rani. I mean, it was nice to see the Master come back in Utopia, but does anybody care about the Rani? Is it a big enough reveal for people to actually sit up?
The thing is, depending on how you write the Rani, the only version that we've ever seen is basically just Missy anyway. So, like, who cares?
And with the reveal of Missy, it was an alternate script take, wasn't it? That she was just rather a nice, intelligent sister or some bollocks.
Yeah. Yes. This is incidentally where Will's theory about Rani comes from, because if you translate the word queen into Hindu, it comes back as the word Rani. And I was like, that is one heck of a stretch, man. That is a stretch Reed Richards will be proud of right there.
Which version? Miles Teller?
Any of them. Any single one of them. But yeah. I was like, hang on a minute. He called this character Belinda Chandra, like Rani Chandra from Sarah Jane Adventures. Like, it's on that level of kind of stupidity, really, for me.
I would say, though, like, have you seen the theory that apparently the Doctor and Belinda are somehow they are an actual couple, and like the result in
I hope not.
the eventual family tree that leads to Susan kind of thing? I've seen that floating about.
Lord, no.
Purely because on the press tour they kept quoting it like, you know, mum and dad out on the town and stuff like that. Or maybe they're actually, you know, she's a chameleon arched version of his wife or husband or however it works.
Oh, I hope not. And that sounds dangerously feasible with the whole like it's destiny connecting us and stuff. I really hope not. Oh God.
This is the trouble with RTD in the frame of mind that he is. You can't dismiss anything.
I really hope not. I want it to just be somebody who's slightly got wrapped up in his adventures and doesn't want to be there. But it does mind you,
Susan.
Like Dan the Plasterer Man.
But it does remind me of what gives me a slight kind of hope that it isn't true is that it reminds me of during Flux, everybody was like, Vinder and Bell are going to turn out to be the Doctor's parents. Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah.
They were just two random people.
As yet unborn child.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so no, I don't know how true. I hope it's not because it sounds terrible. But I have heard that rumor that Susan is supposed to be in the finale. But then again, that rumor's been going since at least 2006. So who knows?
Do you think the problem at the moment with the show is the fact that they seem to still be trying to concentrate on the Doctor as a character?
I think it's kind of weird because RTD doesn't normally do that, and that's not his strength. As we've kind of seen, his strength is to do things through a companion's point of view. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what was it, other than the fact that it was new, was there something that particularly appealed about like that first series? Or because I know family members who haven't watched since like literally Eccleston series, but they just loved him and his portrayal and the way the show was. Having said that, if it's like that now, I think it's in danger of you're going to annoy the fans because it's too, like if you put that out now, it's going to be too light and fluffy and not serious enough. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of jokiness in that and farting aliens and stuff. So I just don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we did have a creature made of snot.
Well, this is true.
I think. See, I think that first series, because you expected a certain type of character from Eccleston.
Yeah.
There was a gravitas there. I mean, he could pull off humor when he wanted, but you
definitely a lot.
You kind of got him as this, you know, survivor of a war. and it touched upon his past, but it didn't explicitly go into it. And I think they've kind of doubled down on it as it's gone on. You know, they bring in the Master, they bring in, you know, Davros explaining it, the Time Lords, they're back. No, they're not, and all this kind of stuff. And you know, who's this girl to the Doctor? Who's this to the Doctor? Always who these characters are always in relation to the Doctor. It would be nice to have some kind of season where not everything's about the Doctor. He's not the center of the universe, so to speak.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and I think yes, basically, because as you say, it got a bit silly when it was like, well, River Song is now your wife, but also your companion's daughter, and like you said, everybody you meet is combined with you in some kind of historical destiny kind of way. And one of the nice things about Donna was just like, no, I am just a temp from Chiswick who knows how to type, and then they ruined it by like merging her with the Doctor for the Dr. Donna thing, and you just had to ruin it. But I see what you mean. I do have a couple of things that you brought to mind though that I wanted to bring up, which is that I think one of the things I would do is not listen to the hardcore fans who keep whining about it and bring back the familiar things that are, you know, iconic about the show. Bring back the villains, because that was my other issue with the kind of the main bad guy of this episode was if you're not going to bring back the Daleks and Cybermen, don't create really piss poor inferior versions of what could be exactly the same thing. You know what I mean? This could easily have been a Dalek / Cyberman story, and it would have got a lot more publicity. It probably would have got a lot more people watching, and it would change nothing about the plot whatsoever.
Yeah.
Are we expecting to see any kind of returning villains?
No. I think, like I said, Davies is just way too stubborn, and he's already pointed out it's not going to happen. He wants to give them all a rest. I think someone quoted as saying, Chibnall made it easy because I didn't want to. I was reluctant to do the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the Master, and it's much easier to do that because I'm coming off the back of an episode that featured all three of them. So now I can give them all a rest for a while. And it's like, oh, but should you? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Especially when we might not see Shooty face the Daleks. I mean, except in Big Finish, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's still shocking though, as you said. I mean, at this point, you can't be so arrogant as to think it's going to carry on no matter what. So I've got all the time in the world. And when you've had 2 full series and you haven't featured a single familiar villain, outside of Sutek, come on, man, you must try harder than this.
But do you think it would be, assuming you can get him, because obviously he's becoming more and more popular, to maybe give the show a rest for a year or 2 and just plan something really good and then get the villains back for a new season?
If that's what he wants to do, and that's certainly, I think that's the best case scenario. Even if Disney Plus wait till this series ends, give them an immediate green light, and you start production, there's going to be nothing on TV until, at the earliest, late 2027. So it's going to have a gap no matter what. It's just a question of how long is it, and hopefully it's not 16 years again. But
I know it kind of defeats the purpose because you've got streaming, but I'd be happy watching, you know, like when we were young, having, you know, 5 Faces of Doctor Who and putting just the pinnacle of Who stories, having a little season of that on TV.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but like you said, nowadays that kind of thing gets put on the down there sort of streaming channels or satellite or cable or digital or whatever. You wouldn't see BBC One devoting themselves to repeats in that way anymore, which is a shame.
Yeah. It's cheap.
I mean, yeah, it's cheap, but like I said, they wouldn't do it. It would end up being on either, you know, if it's the classic era, it often gets shoved on BBC 4. If not, it's usually on Watch or W or one of those other kind of conglomerate-owned things where they can just shove all the older stuff. But like you said, it's just, they don't care because they don't need to put money into publicizing this thing. You know, they want it to advertise itself and to be a money maker for them. They're not going to go to the effort, the BBC, of like, let's put money into marketing it and doing anything for it, because then you risk losing that money, and they don't want to do that. I
mean, the BBC's been in this kind of position before with things like EastEnders, where it's been touch and go whether it's going to continue. I would like to see a return to, you know, quality Doctor Who. But is it going to happen in time?
I just think, I don't see why it's so hard to do 12 episodes, if you want to call it 12 episodes and a special every year. It's not difficult. It's nowhere near what they were doing in the classic era. It's what Russell T was doing back in, you know, his first era, and it shouldn't be this difficult. And if you've got to do it on reduced budget, so be it. I really genuinely don't think most fans would care or mind or notice. Just do it, and let's not.
Some of the cheaper episodes have been the best.
Well, exactly. I mean, Yeah. But I really don't think people. I mean, I know people say they would mind, but I really don't think they would notice or care that much. And I said, I hate this idea that we've got a streamer dictating. No, you can have 8 episodes every maybe couple of years if you're lucky. You know, it's kind of. I hate that TV's that in general. I said that on our Discord. I was kind of like, I don't want everything to become like House of the Dragon, where I really love the show, but I don't want them to tell us like you've got 6 episodes, then you wait 2 years, then you get 5, then you wait 2 years, then you get 4, then it's finished. Like that's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like there's very few shows that actually consistently come out year on year and have the same kind of episodes. It's like Only Murders in the Building is one of the only shows. I mean, that's got going into production for another season, like on the same year basis. The Bears got a season 4 in some capacity coming out. Like, there's very few shows that are actually made in mind of like, right, we'll come back next year and we'll do more. Like, it's lucky that we've got, you know, as Daredevil Born Again is coming out, they're already doing season 2, so we know at least that's coming and hopefully shouldn't change in episode count. But again,
no, I mean they've already they took 1 episode away, but only to give it to the Punisher special presentation. So that's it's basically the same episode count when you look at it. But I mean, I think this is going to be my last thought because I don't want to spend your entire podcast rambling on. But I do think, again, I would fall out with Russell T because I have the opposite opinion of him. I don't think you have to compete with Marvel and Star Wars and everything else. I don't think Doctor Who should. I think the appeal of it is that it's not trying to catch up with all that shit. And as soon as you try to make it like prestige television that looks like everything else, that's when it kind of becomes crap because it shouldn't look or feel like anything else. And if that means feeling a little bit like, it's the plucky little show that did the best it could with bubble wrap and tape, so be it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy for another, like when Pertwee started.
Yes, yeah. Just exile into Earth and, do unit stories for a bit.
Yeah, or switch it up a bit. I mean, when you look at something like, I'm going back a few years now, but Life on Mars, that was a fantastic show. And, I would imagine the budget isn't even comparable to what Who's getting at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been good to have like a Pertwee era season when you've got a unit like spin-off coming, because then you could have had that year, done that, and then your next year had the ratings gone up and you'd have like brought the budget down or whatever and not spent as much money and use it to make better episodes. Like, you would then go off and do the space stuff in like season 3 and know that, so Unit's going to stick around now that he's kind of been there, set it up and met these new characters and old returning characters and sort of left them in a position to not be a piece of shit and just hire kids to murder them.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think you would need to have a unit, a reworking of Unit as it stands, because at the moment that, as we were saying the other day, it's just like looking at Avengers Tower full of this ragtag group of people and somebody that's still at school.
Yeah. It should feel like your local scout hut, not like friggin' Alan Sugar's newest boardroom or whatever. It should not be like high-tech, state-of-the-art millions of quid. It should be like, we're doing the best we can in a ramshackle RAF base that we claim is top secret, but we've got a big sign outside saying unit, keep clear.
As long as it's nothing like Torchwood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be. But yeah. I mean, I know I did
kind of go in that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I don't mind. I'd be happy for that. But anyway, I don't know. I said I wasn't going to say, but I have had one other thought, which is, again, slightly critical. But stop. When it comes to RTD and that, stop thinking that you know best and you just want to be pretentious and whatever else. And again, this thought came to me because I was thinking of we've just done a review of Day of the Daleks, and whatever else you might think of Barry Letts as a producer, he was always like, well, we need a hook to get people into the series when it's restarting again. So it was the Master or it was, the Doctor regenerating. And then it was like, well, we need to shove the Daleks into a story because that's going to at least get bums on seats. And they put them in a story that didn't initially have them because at least people would tune in. And I think that would be the case again. If you'd called this episode like the Dalek Revolution and featured Daleks in it, I reckon it picks up a shitload more viewers than just, it's Doctor Who again. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys know, I mean, with the fate of the show up in the air, what is the plan with regards to that spin-off? Is that still going or has that been canned?
No, it's happening. It's been done. It's going to come out regardless, but it's only 5 episodes. So
it's only 5? I thought it was like 6
it's always
or 7.
only been 5. No, it's only always been 5. Yeah.
Because that was included in the Disney deal of like, you'll get this many episodes and then we'll see kind of thing.
I don't have the exact number, but it works out that, it would be 5 episodes because the number included the 60th specials, the 2 Christmas specials, and then the 2 8-episode series, and then it'll have to get 5 episodes, which is what they're doing for the spin-off. So,
fair enough. It might end on Russell. This Doctor Who might end on Russell Tovey making out with the Sea Devil, possibly. I don't know. Maybe that's something to look
well,
forward to.
I did also see a quote again. There's everything going around, and you don't know how much truth to put on any of these because we're at the silly season for Doctor Who news. But I did see somebody asking Russell T Davies, "Is there a chance of a crossover with the spin-off?" And he said, "Like, oh, I don't know. I would never say never. There's a possibility, but we have to establish the show first. But it could happen. You could see it." And I'm like, "It's already filmed. Who are you trying to convince? If it's going to happen, it's done. It's in the can. You're not waiting to see how the first 4 did until you put the 5th episode together. You already know what you're doing."
Do you think the characters might make an appearance this season, though, even in the background, to kind of like get people excited?
Russell Tovey waiting for a bus.
I think that's going to be part of. I think that's going to be part of Pete McTighe's episode because he's the co-showrunner of the spin-off and he's doing the kind of unit Dr. Light Ruby story. So I would not be surprised at all if his story somehow sets up the spin-off.
What are we? Some kind of war between the land and sea squad?
They already had him drop it in the dialogue during 73 yards as clunkily as that. So let's let's not do that again.
No, even clunkier. I want them to
don't
look.
remember that, do you?
I want Millie Gibson to look down the barrel of the camera. Is this some kind of spin-off? And then just it ends.
It's like we're caught in some kind of the war between the land and the sea.
Yeah. It can't be as clunky as, I shall call this the Torchwood Institute.
That wasn't bad.
Oh, that was awful.
Well, technically, you could call this episode the war between the land and the seamen.
Oh.
Oh, wrap it up. We're not topping that.
So overall, guys, what would you rate the Robot Revolution Henry Hoover episode out of 10?
I had a discussion with Jill just after the episode, and we discussed pretty much what we discussed here. And I think it's a 6. It's not overly terrible. It's just not anywhere near how good it could be.
Yeah, a marked improvement on last year's, I think, and it's fine. It's good. It's not at all going to be one of those ones like, oh god, let's put on Robot Revolution. I mean, if you're box setting it, you'll watch it, but it's not something that's sort of like reinventing the format or like taking your breath away kind of thing. It hopefully is a decent start to then be built on, and hopefully we get some more higher quality stuff as the weeks go on.
I will say I was really pleased that it's one of the 3 of this season that's getting a Target novelization, because I really think it could benefit from having space to breathe and a better explanation for things, and hopefully we get that in the book at least. so maybe my thoughts on it will improve if I read it instead of having to watch it again. We'll see. But yeah, score wise, I've been torn because I said initially I would maybe say 6 because the performance is elevated just that far. But then I was like, that feels generous. And I got told off Will Templar, who was, oh, you still called it a 6, which means you think it's good. And I'm like, maybe I'll drop it to a 5. But then again, I do love the Dr. Belinda stuff, and I like Belinda's character setup and everything. So I'll split the difference and say a 5.5 out of 10.
It's fair enough. Just above average for you. I'm surprised that, as we've spoken about it, your rating hasn't gone down.
I did as I was thinking about it more after the episode itself. I mean, when it first aired, I was like, well, whatever, maybe 6 out of 10, and that's being a bit harsh. And then, like I said, I watched it a second time and was like, no, this really is. It wasn't just that I wasn't paying attention or was tired. This is just not explaining anything. It's rushed. The actual main plot is bullshit. And then as I thought about it, I just got angrier and angrier and was like, do you know what? I don't think it's unfair of me to want Russell T Davies to be a better writer. I want to enjoy the show. I don't just want to be like, give me any old shit. Yeah. I'll lap it up as long as it's still being put out.
How selfish of you to want good quality Doctor Who. Were you annoyed, Mike, that everyone was saying that this was very Star Trek-y?
No, I could see where they were coming from, because Star Trek, especially the original series, did about 7 episodes where it was like a planet get took over by an evil computer. So as soon as they introduced AI, which, by the way, if you're going to do that and take a dig at AI, at least do that. Don't say you're going to and then half-arse your way out of it. Different complaint. But no, as soon as they revealed...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just hated the look of that fucking...
Oh, the gormless look of the kind of...
Jesus.
I'm a computer. But yeah, no, I mean, Star Trek's done that 6 or 7 times to the point that even Futurama took the piss out of it. So I couldn't take it seriously because when it happened, I was just hearing B. Arthur go, "Fembots, you must control them. You can't do female basketball. Did you tell them that we can't dunk, but we can do good fundamentals? How dare they?"
But yeah, I'd say the same as you. I'd say it's like a 6. It's okay. It's nothing special. Hopefully, when we reconvene at a later date, we'll be like, oh, it was not bad. It led to some good stuff. Hopefully, more funny Anita Dobson in and out cameos.
Yes, let's just make up every Fascio character. I would genuinely love it if it turned out that was the case. And we weren't just kind of, bringing our own cultural bias from the You Ain't Seen Me. She's going to literally do a different Fascio character every week.
Yeah.
Excuse me, audience, does my bum look big in this?
At the start of the final episode, excuse me, sir, there's a problem with drainage in the lower fields. And it turns out to be like the snot monster from Space Babies.
I liked your one, just somehow have them caught up in a solar flare or something, and then her just float past in a spacesuit going, "Scorchio."
But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, internet problems aside. So thank you for being the first guest of season 2 and maybe the final season of Doctor Who. We'll hopefully have you on at a later date if it gets recommissioned, or if just.
Well, I'm coming back anyway because whether or not Doctor Who gets recommissioned, I have to review some terrible freaking superhero movies with you in July, so I'm going to be back.
That's true, and hopefully the Spum gets tied into the MCU, and then Mike, you have to live forever and talk about the Spum.
We've been promising we were going to do a DCEU retrospective at some point, but I don't know if any of us have the courage to sit through them all.
I've got the courage to sit through it. I've just got to stop having kids.
Fair enough.
My problem.
Fair.
But guys, is there anything you want to plug? Obviously, I know that there's a few podcasts that you want to, just throw at the audience's face, like Anita Dobson covered in a Henry Hoover full of sperm. So take it away.
I'll take the one that's currently going, which is the Hit or Miss Doctor Who. It's part of we had a Hit or Miss Star Trek channel. I extended it to be Hit or Miss Who Trek, and we're currently in the midst of our first Doctor Who themed series, of which George is going to be on reviewing Daleks Invasion Earth, the movie soon. Head over there and look for Hit or Miss Who Trek or Hit or Miss Doctor Who. We're doing Dalek themed stories at the minute. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And we do also have the Silver Screen podcast, but I'll let DK take the plugging for that.
Yeah, we also run a movie one. We have 3 types. We've got cinema classics, cult classics, where we look at movies that are just as good as Robot Revolution, and we've got Silver Screen regular flavor. We look at some good stuff and some not so good stuff. So, but as for social medias, you ain't seen me.
Yes, we do have social medias, and it is. I'll share a link for you if you're interested. But you can just look up our podcast name or my name. Don't go looking for DK because this week he has been mostly avoiding it. So
not just this week.
But until the war between the land and the sea, we can look forward to Lux. Is there anything for you guys to look forward to in episode 2? I know.
I'm excited for it. I was excited for it from the start, and I really am kind of excited. For all of the standalone ones, it's the kind of RTD finale I'm dreading. But yeah, I think it looks good, and fingers crossed it is as good as it looks. It's aiming for my heart by being like old Hollywood cartoons, all the things I kind of secretly love.
Yeah. It looks to be an enjoyable one. I just hope it doesn't let us down.
As optimistic as we can be. So thank you guys. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get your opinions on the next 7 episodes as we go on as well, and have you back on pretty sharpish. And it was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed this.
Now, is he just logging off, or has he completely disappeared again? He's taken this whole "you ain't seen me" thing to extremes, hasn't he? Shall we just go?
We should have bought like a fucking kazoo, like the 5 Doctors.
Or like Patrick try a little harmonica recorder thing.
We'll leave a bit, and then do that noise again, and then it will come out of it, and we'll do the back end. No mind if I don't join you.
Sorry, I've been playing for that for 5 hours. God, guys, shut up. I get it's a review, but honestly, guys, how did you talk for that long?
Wasn't it lovely to hear from Mike and DK? It was nice to have DK on for the first time and that we've not scared him off from all the times we've been on his podcasts. And
But George, next time, give me a bit more notice. I can't sit here playing a harmonica for 5 hours. I mean, time streaming and stuff is all complicated and all that, but...
Time's gone wibbly. Timey-wimey,
Wibbly-wobbly.
my 6.
I needed my
who
carrot
knows?
juice.
Who knows? Carrot juice? But overall, what did you guys think of Robot Revolution? The first episode of Season 2 and final episode of Doctor Who? We don't know. Hopefully
Season
not.
222.
Anyone, if you're abroad, please, for the love of God, watch Doctor Who on Disney Plus. Support it as much as even put it on play and go for a walk. Leave it on in the background. Get the view in. Get the view. Get the view for it. Hashtag get Season 3 home. Right.
Hit the like button. Hit the comment. And
Connor,
share BBC iPlayer.
Take us out and tell them where they can find us for the rest of the
So,
week.
not on BBC iPlayer. You found us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. All the other apps that will let you play on in the background. I can't think of anything to save my life on top of my head. SoundCloud at some point. You can find us hopefully as an email attachment. nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com. Blue Sky, not formerly known as X. We're staying away from the X's. No. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. Take our video into your TARDIS of yours and share us. Go on an adventure with us and spread the love, like the Doctor spreads all the joy and positivity to your land. Before the war goes beyond the land and sea.
Very true.
Yeah.
And next week, Will Templar is back. Praise be for Doctor Who episode 2 Lux. So
Without the F.
if
The F
you-
is silent.
if you're interested in Doctor Who, please continue to
Invest in the show.
invest in the show, please.
Yeah.
Both the Doctor Who show and this, because this is 8 weeks of it now. There's only 7 more to go, maybe forever. But another fabulous guest next week, and yes. What are we looking forward to about Lux?
Alan Cumming.
The aesthetics, Alan Cumming,
Yeah,
the
there's definitely
creepy,
aesthetics.
horrifying, hopefully child-scaring 2D animation. Because we've not had a Doctor Who be scary in a while.
No.
It was just kind of frightening. I mean, 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble were just frightening and depressing looks. I mean,
Suspenseful.
especially Dot and Bubble was just society, and that was depressing.
First adult,
Oh, this is just what the internet's like. Fabulous. Thanks, guys.
way to escape, guys. Yeah.
Way to do escapism, guys. But until next time, goodbye, my dears.
Bye for now.